Hmm. What's going on? Let's get it. I know everybody been waiting their butt off, so here we go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Gray Pill Podcast. I appreciate everybody coming in. Definitely, I appreciate everybody taking the time out because I know we're supposed to start a little bit sooner, but life, people had technical difficulties, and we want to make sure everybody have all the bells and whistles so y'all can have a great show and a good conversation. So, shout out to Miss Princess K. Thank you for being in. I really appreciate you for taking the time out. Miss Elizabeth Davis, like always. Special shout out to you. Miss Devon, my man. Always with the positivity. Appreciate you. Dangerously active. Keep holding down, man. Appreciate you. One of my other number one eyes out there. Where's Mr. Marcus at? I see him. Shout out to you, Primal Studies, my brother from another mother. Shout out to Marcus. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. And like always, all right, so here we go. We got somebody very special for y'all. All right. Somebody that I don't know if y'all ever heard about him, seen about him. I know I hear about him in them YouTube streets.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Nathan Daniels. All right. And let me go ahead and bring up the other part of the Gray Pill podcast. Mink and Mink.
Oh, hey guys.
She's getting comfortable. All right, give her some grace, viewers, because today's her mom's birthday. Because I remember last week we not only had appreciation for content because we had reached 182 subscribers, so we had appreciation for that one. And on that same day it was Mika's birthday, so she actually took the time out and be part of the Great Pill podcast experience for that. So now today's her mom's birthday, so if she had to step out for a moment for her mom, we're going to give her that grace. All right, that's.
Oh, I just did.
Okay.
I just came back, so we're good.
Okay, cool. And last but not least, my other brother from another mother, Mandrell. What's good, Mandrell?
Hey, how's it going? Happy to be here. Hey, everyone.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
Nathan.
Yes, sir.
How's it going up there, Flatfoot?
Man, I'm not Flatfoot. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I'm really excited about the conversation, man. I have a lot to share.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it, man. Because and this is why I feel like, and I'm gonna do this a little bit differently. All right. Because usually on the Great Pill podcast, we'll do reactions to certain things. We'll have trending topic conversations, and then sometimes we'll just be a little silly with some reactions. So that's pretty much how we do it. But we actually do have conversations. That's number one. We here on the Great Pill podcast, we feel like everybody has a perspective for everything, right? On Black Men Unfiltered, you already know how it goes over there. It's unfiltered, but they have good conversations.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? But we definitely keep it positive over here. We definitely feel like everybody got a voice to get heard. So with that being said, brother, if you don't mind letting these lovely people know in the audience and the viewers. Also, fellas, if y'all just coming in, hit the subscribe button. If you're new, hit the bell notification so you get updated on everything. You know what I'm saying? We got Mr. Nathan Daley here. All right.
Sir.
Also, hit them likes as you coming in. Hit them likes as coming out because I know everybody got a like. So I appreciate y'all. So, Mr. Nathan, if you would like to introduce yourself and tell the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Yes, sir. First of all, brother, I appreciate you for having me on your podcast, on this show. I've been looking at your content. I enjoy your content and I enjoy your work. So thank you again for giving me the opportunity to come and speak. Shout out to everybody on the panel. And so a little bit about me, you guys. I have a channel on YouTube called Real Nathan Daley. On that channel, I break down a lot of difficult topics regarding law enforcement and current event issues as it involves the Black community. So for those who don't know, I'm a 13-year law enforcement veteran out here in the state of Georgia. And I recently retired 2 years ago after a tragic accident. So I decided to lend my expertise and my knowledge to provide insight into the world of policing, behind the scenes, behind the blue curtain, raw truth. And I honestly did that so that, our community would have an opportunity to really get an opportunity to see what it's like, someone who could be genuine, to be honest, and then also to hold police accountable as much as we hold everybody else accountable. The objective is to create a series of real reform ideas so that we can present them to a local and federal level. And so that's what I do over my channel. I have live shows for you guys to come up those who are interested in debating and going over certain topics. It's always, my door is always open for you. I always just say, let's just be mature, respectful, and let's focus on solving the problems and not complaining about them.
Yes, sir. Well said.
Yes, sir.
Anybody got Minka, Medro, you have any questions for the brother before I chime into something real quick?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, I feel like you got something lined up for Medro.
Jesus. Yeah, he's like, not yet.
Okay.
I do have
I
one
just
thing
want
to
to say,
say, though. I do have
Okay.
one thing to say, though.
Sure.
Is this background okay?
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This all right?
The hate is
emotional damage.
You know, I'm feeling that, man. You got to send me that photo, man. I might have to put that on the, that's a good thumbnail for a show.
Oh, man.
That's what's up.
All right. That's the only question you had, Medro, right now?
Yeah, that's it for right now. Yeah,
You want to get that away? Okay, cool.
Already starting off salty. Already starting off.
Yeah. What you got, Binka?
Skip me for. I was just gonna say you're very well spoken, and I've watched your panel a couple of times now. I really, really appreciate the way that you do what you do.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So, all right. So let's get to it. So, all right. As far as your YouTube content and all that stuff. So, what are your future goals that you want to do with? Since you just recently hit 10K. So, was that hard to do, or like what's the process for that?
The process is long and grueling. I will say that. Because I think hitting 10K or just hitting different goals from what I've seen, I think it's different depending on your content, right? My content is not something that's really searchable right now, right? It's not popular to really talk about the police or police issues or criminal justice just in general. I think right now that's really popular within, the Black YouTube space is relationship. It's relationship stuff. It's celebrity gossip and drama. I've seen people who have pages kind of dedicated to that, and their numbers are growing.
Yeah.
There's always something to talk about with this, fictitious gender war that's going on in the Black community, or who's a real man, who's a simp. It's like it seems like it's YouTube within the Black community is so inundated with things that are so irrelevant to just the basic survival of the Black community. You would think it would be finances and family development and domestics, how to repair relationships, like more positive centered content that's really going to help us catapult forward versus just kind of stuck in like a frenzy of entertainment. And so I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest, since I'm new to YouTube. I just started maybe about 7 months ago.
Oh, wow.
I started in October of last year, and I've really just been hustling. And I've noticed that the best thing to do is to go out and you have to sell yourself to different audiences. My content is very universal, meaning that it's a shared problem that everybody has interacting with the criminal justice system. But at the same time, it's one of those topics that people only care about it when it's popular. Right now, like we just had something. Well, the Amber Heard situation and Johnny Depp is popular. Prior to that, it was Will Smith and Jada Pinkett.
Yeah.
And there were things that were going on behind the scenes that were more important, like the I just spent almost $200 at the grocery store today, right? And so gas prices, inflation, the president spending and cutting checks on things that have nothing to do with what he promised he was going to do, right?
Yeah.
So it's easy to throw things under the radar when you're distracted, and unfortunately, our community is so easily sedated by entertainment, and we just fall off of our square when we need to be focused on getting things done, which is why a lot of pertinent things are not taken care of, unfortunately, because we're not really just laser focused on one issue.
True.
So so has it been difficult? Absolutely. I purposely go into spaces because there was a point in time where I was stuck at 5,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I can't grow. The channel's not growing. I would have people watch the content. I would break down court videos So I started off doing breaking down actual trials with the during the Ahmaud Arbery case with
Okay.
the McMichaels. I broke down that entire trial, video by video, just explaining to people how law works. I then broke down the trial with Kyle Rittenhouse, and people were shocked about that because I was like, from the very beginning, guys, hey, he's not guilty. This is self-defense.
Yeah.
So on my channel, I talk about facts over feelings. And if you want to understand how this game works, you got to take the emotions out of it, because
Yes.
we analyze the law, not moral arguments. I can tell you all day what feels good and what doesn't feel good. It has nothing to do with the law. And unfortunately, some people have a hard time distinguishing between law and what they feel like things should be. And so that has been a challenge. But what I do like about my channel, though, for me, I feel like it's been building slowly in comparison to some of the video views that I have. I'm like, oh, I got 7,000 views on this video, yet only had 2,000 subscribers. I'm like, damn, make it make sense. So
yeah,
it's very it could be discouraging,
Yeah.
extremely discouraging. And then I had to find a way to make myself unique. And honestly, everything that I'm doing is unique because no one else is doing it.
correct.
Problem is, no one is searching for it either. And so that becomes a dilemma with YouTube. So, I just, for me, the objective is to go in and tackle difficult issues, bring awareness to the channel. And that's how I found success, going into other people's domain and then slaughtering the competition and coming back. Folks are like, oh my God, he just, right? Yeah. Recently, I was on Chantel streaming,
Yeah.
debating with some guys who are, red pill, manosphere, this fear, that fear, all these fears. And I said, you know what it is? I said, you guys suffer from, post-traumatic female disorder. Some of y'all are just so damn hurt by women that you just can't. You're 40 years old and still.
That's her whole main saying right there. She's been saying that for the longest.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of the, and it's not all of them, as we know. We know there's different degrees. And again, I'm not a part of the manosphere. I'm like a guest.
We're not either.
I come in,
yeah.
I say what I have to say, but I'm observing a lot. And I'm just like, man, what is going on? And you hear the logic. I just challenge their logic. And then once they trip over their own, self-created world that they put together, absent of reality, they start to sound silly. And, so I just try to go around and share the little bit of wisdom that I've gained over this short period of time, and then just pray that the seeds that I leave behind, someone else can come and water them. So
they will. Mickey, you had something?
I had a lot, but I don't even remember. It was just keep going. It's you're speaking my language, and it's really, really refreshing. And I think that you had said something last time. There was a backstage that I reacted to, but that was backstage. But I apologize. I wanted to apologize now because I am now understanding when you say things, it's for the greater good. Fuck the feelings.
Yes.
And I get that. Not knowing that beforehand, it's like, what? But now I'm understanding what you're saying, how you're saying it, and why you're saying it that way. I get that. No, I mean, he knows too. It just knows. Like I said, the whole reason I started this, I even got into it, was the same reason that you did. It's like people think that, oh, the world is just so crappy and this is just how it is. But it just takes one or two people or three people or four people or like several different channels or people on different social media platforms or someone just having a conversation in person to be able to make that change that we're seeking. If we don't do it, nobody's going to do it.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's all. And if you, we should do a backstage one day and collaborate on some stuff because Angelus and I have some stuff working to get more outreach on other platforms.
Yeah, because the stuff that you're saying, Mandra, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of him. We had a whole phone conversation. I'm calling him, thinking he black man or whatever, but Nathan, I apologize. I put some respect your name in.
You good, brother. You good.
Nathan, because, again, we'll talk backstage about it, but it's some stuff that, even it's some things that I can't do, I know you can do. And I'm not going to never hide that from nobody, knowing that you can move it forward. But we'll definitely talk about that and give you, because I know a lot of guys that would love to debate. It's not a negative thing, but I know you that guy. You're that guy. Yeah. But it's a lot of guys in those spaces that I know personally that doesn't mind the debate. Their numbers like dwarf anybody I know, and they welcome it. They welcome the invite. Just welcome it. So we'll talk about that.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. Medrell, you got anything, bro? Before I move on to something else.
We can go on to something else. I've talked to Nathan quite a few times. You know
That's
what I mean?
good. Welcome to the Great Pill Podcast, sir. So we're gonna talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, I told him.
Let's pretend today's a new day.
Right.
You know, Mandrill struggles with his imagination, so
I noticed.
You gotta guide him.
What are you talking about? Thank you for having me on the Great Pill Podcast.
Welcome to the Great Pill Podcast. On that one, so all right, so we already discussed the plans. Your intent for the your intent for popping on and some random spaces. I'm thinking of it now. Did you have in your journey of these YouTube streets, did you have any difficulties or just like, you know what, just little frustrations with anybody as far as debating or just having actual conversation? And I'll give you one for me because I don't consider myself a smart guy. I always tell myself I'm vanilla. I'm chill, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it was shout out to Melanie and them. They invited us over to their platform. We had a good conversation, great discussion. And Mika, she's about the debating too. And so I went over one night and had a live call in. So I went over there just to come in, support. And pretty much the topic was about women, calling the men think of women's Keisha with the long nails and stuff. And one guy was like, hey, my black sisters, they can't come to events with me because they got the long nails. I'm like, I said, sir, wouldn't that be a preference? He's like, yeah, that's okay. I said, as long as we agree on that, we're fine. But just understand, I know events you went to, but there's classy events, there's formal events. And I've seen women at these type of events that actually has the long nails that you kind of frown upon. And he just just went 0 to 60 hot. No. And I'm like, okay. The first person I thought of her because she's out in them space all of LA and stuff. Most of them bougie, most of them too classy, $3,000 purses, bags. And then on my end of space, it's like I seen these type of people, you know what I'm saying, in these elegant spots. So I'm like, no. And he just got mad and just got hot and he dipped out on his own. I said, okay. So if you ever had anything that's similar?
Well, I will say this. I am learning. See, I'm who I am. Like so I'll say this. I'm not anyone that's I'm not ashamed of who I am. I've achieved a lot, I've accomplished a lot, and I have a lot of experience in a lot of different areas. So I knew coming into YouTube that I'm putting my entire life out in the open, right?
Correct.
That doesn't bother me. I'm not someone who's moved by words. I'm moved by action. And so I was actually, I don't know why. And I'll say this, I have a little bit of naivety to me, right? Because I assume that we're all adults. Sometimes me and a friend of mine coined these terms, performative femininity and performative masculinity. And what I've noticed since I got on YouTube is that people are on here reinventing themselves, right? They aren't who they say they are. They're not who they pretend to be.
Yeah.
They have created a lifestyle, and an imaginary world on YouTube and social media. I didn't know how bad it was until I got on here.
Yeah.
And and so it's like, that's why I kind of push this standard of camming up. Put your words where your face is. Because what ends up happening is people like to there's a sense of confidence and freedom a person has when they can't be seen.
Yeah.
Right? Because people have flaws. I have flaws. These things become they're on display now. They become ammo for someone who's wicked with their wordplay. And so, I know some guys on here who have a lot to say about women, but then if you ever would have saw them up close, you see their teeth are missing.
Yeah.
They have no dental appointments. They walk with a cane. They can barely stand up straight.
Breathing heavy.
They're heavy just in general. You can hear the cholesterol in their voice. And what's funny is they have the most smoke for women, but yet you never see them. And I think it's so interesting. And and again, it's crazy, man. You have people who at one point in time in life, they were selling their body, you know, in different kind of ways. They were spinning on poles in different kind of ways. Some say they dance. I argue to what type of, you know, what genre of dance were you dancing, right? But nonetheless, you have women who use and exploit their image for attention. You have some women who can just post a photo and be accepted in the ranks of men. You know, it says a lot, man. It says a lot that no one has any standards. So when I came into the space, here I am bringing some type of standard. People start off, which I've noticed recently, you could be really cool, right? It could be like something like me and Mandrell were like, cool. And then a week later, they're dragging you in the mud on someone else's channel for no reason at all. It makes no sense. You have women on here who will slide in your email and your DMs and you'll have a conversation. Then they'll turn around and say that you've been hitting on them, right? So it's weird, man. It's weird. Then you have a group of people who probably seems like they've been rejected in life. Now they're rejected on YouTube. They galvanize themselves, a bunch of clowns, and they start their own circus, right? The snake eating its own tail, you know, at the end of the day. I just don't understand. I don't understand the counterproductive lack of purpose that some people have in their life. It's sad, man. It's sad.
On my end of the fence, I'm agree with you on that one because I didn't feel like it got that bad on the YouTube side because I came from the gamer side and you got trolls all day. You got guys that were dressed up as God knows whatever and do some God knows stuff. It's crazy and funny. So I'm so used to it as like normal, so I laugh at it. But it's kind of weird. You come over to this space, showing your face or just an avatar, and you're an adult, especially when women would do certain things and guys knowing up front who they are, but still fall into that kind of depth from that. And that's pretty much got me thinking of what the topic was today with the whole Johnny Depp situation. And I watched one of your content. You actually covered it. And I'm going to share that right now.
All right,
we can have a talk about that. Where is it? Okay.
Yeah, incidentally, everything Nathan said about society and this whole YouTube space, I said, Black Man Unfiltered and I've had this conversation. I said everything he said. Nathan said I told Black Man Unfiltered. I told Nathan as well in conversations. Nathan, I do not understand this.
Yeah,
I do not. It makes no sense.
I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. It's just it's hurt people getting hurt, and then they end up hurting more people. That's all it comes down to. Every guy that has all this smoke for women has been hurt severely to a point where they hate women. That's what they feel, right? So if I go to Starbucks and I have like a bad experience, I'm like, fine, I'll try again. I go to second time, terrible experience again. Third time, fourth time. By the 10th time, I'm like, fuck Starbucks. I'm never going to go there ever again. Fuck them. Fuck their brand. Fuck everything they're about. Every time someone brings up Starbucks, oh, they're pieces of shit. They don't know anything right from wrong, blah, 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 blah. That's all it is. And that's because that's how I got introduced to it. It was a couple of guys that were my friends that were really in this sphere. And when I got to understand their story, they had been severely hurt by women. It's the same thing with the women on the complete other side of the spectrum. When they're dancing and they're doing all that stuff, that's their survival mode. But at the same time, they don't care about men because they have been severely hurt by men. So it's just hurting people. I understand it. I don't agree with it, but I do understand it.
And that's what it is. All right, get to this video real quick. And this is if you want to explain this one real quick before I get into it, because I'm gonna play like a minute of it, Nate.
Yeah. So what's interesting is the issue is the allegation of domestic violence. Amber Heard had made some statements to a news article. I want to say a news company. I want to say it was the Washington Post. I can't remember what the name of the whatever that news company is or whatever. But she was being interviewed, and she insinuated that she was a victim of domestic violence during a particular time in her life. During that time, she was married to Johnny Depp. So what happened? People took it and they ran with it. She made a couple statements. They ran with it, and they're like, "Hey, he's an abuser," and she was abused in this relationship. So that had a negative impact on his career.
Yeah.
It also had a negative impact on him just a person, because his name is his brand. And so he started having issues. He tried to sue her because initially the statement was made overseas. It got dismissed. Then now over here in the US, now he's suing her again for defamation of character. And that's what the trial is about. So now they're going back, looking at old text messages, videos, and they're interviewing people, because the whole idea is, was he really abusive? Did he really abuse her? So now they're looking at they're digging out their relationship and saying, over this point in time, were you ever abused? Was he abusive, or were you the abuser? Right. And so that's what this trial has been about, to verify whether or not Amber Heard was a victim of domestic violence, and were those statements that she said, are they accurate? And if they're accurate, then there's no defamation, because it means it's real. So she has to prove that her statements and the events that did take place actually did happen.
Well, shout out to her, because I'm since we all about these pronouns now, so I'm calling her Amber Turd. So here we go.
The first facts. They're looking at the statement. Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. She said that has to change. She's talking about her experience dealing with domestic violence in regards to her relationship with Johnny Depp. Then she also states, then 2 years ago, which is the time of her marriage, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out. Now, she is right. Anytime you're dealing with someone of power, someone with influence, you guys, this is true. When you try to go against what they're doing, or you speak out, or you say something about them, you're gonna be matched with their force of attorneys, their force of influence. I mean, she's absolutely correct. I think this is true, and people know this to be true. We see this in a lot of cases, especially celebrities. I don't think this is unique just to men, though. I think this is unique to anyone who has financial power. You're able to control the narrative. And I think sometimes people get this whole piece confused. These are two celebrities, and one celebrity is bigger than the other. Johnny Depp is a big celebrity. And so when these allegations, quote unquote, of domestic violence were taking place, of course he's going to fight back. Of course he's going to use whatever resource he has available to combat those allegations. That's what these guys have. They have PR, they have a marketing team for this very purpose. Then she makes another statement, because this is where the defamation is rooted in. She makes another statement. Hold on, so that I've heard. I've been listen. Yeah. When it comes to rules over here on my channel, as long as everybody's respecting each other in chat, you guys, I'm cool with it. I know people say all caps and all that kind of stuff. Nah, just be cool with everybody. I'm straight. And so, my moderators are super dope. They don't really, they don't bother nobody unless they act crazy. So let's see. What was the other statement that she made? Let me see. Let me scroll. Let me zoom me out. Yeah, she said, I had the rare vantage point of seeing in real time how institutions protect men accused of abuse. Again, so pause it right there. Let me touch on that real quick. See, sure. The statement she made, I see how, men are protected who are accused of abuse. Mm-hmm. I mean, she is insinuating, right? The average person, layman, would look at that and say, you're saying that, Johnny Depp abused you. That's the only man you were with in that time period. And so though she didn't explicitly say his name, everyone put two and two together. And she is correct, though. People with power will fight back when you go after the name, whether it's legitimate or not. And so,
yeah, but does that make that right, though?
No, I mean, absolutely not. Yeah,
no, to me, she's one of those people, and I don't care what, I'm good with saying my stance. She's one of those people that's utilizing the victim mentality and utilizing it for her best advantage. Because ever since the Me Too movement and everything, maybe that was the case prior to that, but now it's let's do cancel culture. Let's automatically go with the woman. And I say that because I'm in Los Angeles. That's the way it is out here. So I don't know about you guys, but like out here, that is how it is. If I accuse any of you guys of doing something to me sexually or physically, you're done.
Yeah.
And it, so that's why I'm saying, like, I feel like she's utilizing that to her advantage as to why she didn't speak out. But like, I don't know if you guys saw it. She was saying that she was using this palette to cover up her bruises. It's like
Oh yeah.
It's a makeup palette that Milani came up with. Milani's a brand that they sell makeup at CVS and like those kind of stores. And it's like a 4-color wheel to be able to cover up bruises in different colors, right? Milani clapped back and they were like, she said she used it from those years up until 2016. That palette was not created until a year later in 2017. And like, so it's just the more that for me, the more that the case just keeps on going, it keeps proving that like she in fact didn't really deal with it. Like she was to me, she was the abuser.
She was the abuser.
Not just that, but like the psychological part of how she goes about everything is just so like, I've dealt with people like that. It's let me cry, and this is in my personal life. Like, Angela, I've told you a little bit about stuff that went down. You have these people that, in front of everyone else, it's kind of like they're vampires. They need one person to manipulate, to abuse, to tear down in every respect, and then to the rest of the world, they cry. Tears just come down. And so like if I come and cry to all 3 of you guys and I'm just like, oh my God, Angela, he hit me, and oh my God, that's just the whole vibe that I just keep getting off this whole thing. And the more that her lies come out, the more that it's like, you buried yourself there, lady.
Yeah, and the thing is with these audio tapes, these came out like a year and a half, damn near 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And because when she almost like it's like a month after she made the initial insinuation, we'll say, you know, but and the Me Too movement grabbed her up and took her on with them, and she went making speeches at the Me Too movement rallies and stuff like that.
That was bad.
You're right. And all this came out like a couple of weeks after she made like that first speech, and then it's like, oh crap, you know what I'm saying? Like her attorneys, why they took this case instead of just telling her, listen, settle out. Just settle. Look at the things you did.
You know what I think it was? Because the fact that when she did it overseas, right? And I guess she figured she won that. Because that, like you said, that was 2 years ago. And there was a guy I was following. He was going through the whole articles, all the different everything that she put him through from that start. And the fact that she won that. So I guess she figured she can come over here and win. So that's why I think she got her head kind of gassed up a little bit.
Gotcha. But the evidence was all this evidence was out back then. Yeah, all the evidence was out back then, and it was clear even back then. No, she was the abuser, and Johnny Depp, like, I mean, I guess he tolerated way more than he should have. Clearly,
he ain't a victim either, though. That man she's 30 something and he's 50 something. You mean to tell me, you really like all that time you were together with her, you didn't think like, hey, I'm old enough to know that this bitch is crazy?
He did, but he fell for the pretty.
Yeah. He fell for the
pretty. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. That's why I tell fellas, look, she might be bad. Like she may be pretty, but you can't fall for the pretty, fellas.
But I think it's deeper than that. I think
there's got to be something
way deeper than, because this Johnny Depp, right? He's not an unattractive guy. He can get any woman, majority of women in Cali, right? Like there's no shortage.
Yeah,
of women he can pull that are more attractive than Amber Heard. She's pretty, but she's not bad, right? Let's just be, and she shit in his bed. So come on.
But that was, to be fair, that was after she had already. And that's after the crazy came out. Once the crazy came out,
well,
cut the finger off and then taking the shit in the bed.
I don't know, because remember in the court trial, they had the psychiatrist was actually explaining out all her issues. You know, narcissism, bipolar. Yeah. She pretty much her own little incel, and it was like whatever she said, she believed.
Yep.
So she felt justified.
Of course.
That's the thing that I was going to say earlier, is that she's doing all of this because you have to be that psychotic. You have to believe what you're saying, and then you don't know, you don't even remember the truth from the lies. You start creating things that didn't happen as actual memories.
So that right there, and criminology, like, right, well, we look at that as sociopathic behavior. Like that is truly on the brink of sociopathic behavior. And I think what a lot of people are not realizing is that, you know, in a domestic, you have someone who is receiving the abuse. Well, that's Johnny Depp, right? Like, he's a broken man.
Yeah.
You know, he's a broken man. And I think people are kind of, not necessarily, though I know this is about defamation and people are looking at all the twisted lies that she is moving around with, but you know, this man needs help. You know, he's not all he's I think he's down and out. He's a
He's
broken
getting
man.
he's getting all the help he needs in that courtroom.
I feel like this is like,
I agree.
I just feel like people that usually, I mean, I've been in this situation, you know what I mean? So it's, I think you end up going so far deep and choosing someone so psychotic that it kind of snaps you into like, oh shit, there's something wrong with me because I picked that.
Yeah.
But what if he didn't know? To be fair, Minka.
Of course he didn't know at the beginning.
Right, I'm saying, yeah.
Of course not. She was probably amazing.
Yeah, he said that in his trial. He said she was in the beginning, you know, she was amazing. He does his Jack Sparrow thing.
These people never, it's not like, that's the thing about the when you, I always say that which I judge I walk through, right? So I used to judge people that like, why are you in that relationship? Obviously they're horrible, obviously they're this, but it's like, these people don't come into a good person's life like an asshole. They come in like, she probably came in like Princess Leia, like, oh my God, it's Captain Sparrow, like just perfect, everything that he wanted, everything that he needed, everything that he was excited about in life. And then little by little, that's why we talk about the vetting process. Little by little, those red flags started coming up and he ignored it. And then more red flags came up and he ignored it. And then one day she pushed him and he ignored it. Then the next time she slapped him and then he ignored it. And it progresses like that. So it's not entirely their fault. It's a learning process. That's why I say even dating itself is something that we learn as we have more experience in it. Now I'm like, that's why you guys ask me like, why didn't I wait for that guy? Why did I wait for that guy? Why don't I give that guy a chance? I see the red flags. I'm good.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, so that's a lesson that a lot of people don't learn until later in life, and some people don't ever learn it. You know, until it chew, you know, the experiences chew them up, and then all they're left is with hurt.
But
they never gave themselves a chance to meet a good person who's going to treat them the right way.
You know what? I'm gonna throw a curveball this way. I'm thinking like somebody didn't tell Johnny, because you know you always got that one friend like, yo, Johnny, you stupid. You know she crazy, right, Johnny? You know she crazy, right?
He had that.
He had that.
Because I feel like
every person that goes through this always has the friends that come to them at a certain point, like, we're watching you be a train wreck. Knock it the fuck off.
Yeah.
Okay. See, now the way you said it, I think that's what he didn't have, that type of friend, because you got them fluffer friends. Like, hey man, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. But I think Johnny, you know what I'm talking about. I think Johnny should have had that real friend, but like, Johnny, let me sit there and look you in your eye and let's talk about this real quick. Johnny, she ain't like, real talk, no lie. And I'm gonna explain to you an example, Nathan. In high school, right? I dated this chick. I could have been hurt. I could have been a turd. You know what I'm saying? And I was dating this chick, and she was doing everything. All the stuff we talk about on Unfiltered. She was doing the woohoo, the haha, the yo-yo tricks, and everything else, right? And I'm just God love. And my homeboy, he came straight to my face, saw everything coming. He's like, bro, I love you. You my man. Yo, your girlfriend's a B, yo. And my face dropped. And I'm like, okay, this is my boy, so I can't punch him. And this is my girl, but I got to defend her. So now I'm justifying. Yeah, man, you know, I understand where you come from, blah, blah. He said, all right. After that, he fall back. So now when all the glass start breaking and the controversy and the little childish behaviors both of us doing, and we broke up, he just like had his hands up, like, hey, you still my boy, but I did tell you. I explained all the red flags for you. So I think he needed that type of friend. Because you got that type of friend, and then he go to the court. I'm gonna still be your friend, but I'm looking like.
But I think that's the challenge, because it's, you know, we have that within family. You know, when you are certified responsible for your blood, and you can tell them that what they're doing is absolutely wrong, and this is this and that and this and that. The issue is the emotions, man. The power of emotions. I think people downplay it so much. When you are emotionally and spiritually entangled with somebody, you know, that alone will have you seeing stars when it's truly graves, right? And I think with Johnny's situation, doesn't help that he was already a broken man, right? He's already addicted to drugs, an alcoholic, right? The man is being hit all different kind of ways. And then he's smitten by this young lady who is a narcissist. And how narcissists work is they are ultimate skillful at gaslighting, you know. And you know, I broke down one of the videos where she actually set up the recording and started to agitate him in the morning, right after his mother passed away. She sat there and agitated him on purpose, and then made it seem like she was, "Why are you mad at me? I didn't do anything, right?" And it's just like, damn, chick,
I'm a victim. I didn't do anything.
Let me tell you
Why
something.
Why are you mad at me?
I wasn't even that. She's like, I was terrified for my life. You see,
right. Now, what gets me is like there are several recordings of her, Johnny starting stuff with him. Johnny tries to leave.
Yeah,
she antagonizes. No, don't leave. Why are you leaving? When you leave and we're arguing, it makes me feel like you're abandoning me. She tries like every trick in the book. The guilt trip,
manipulation.
Yeah, the guilt trip. Taking shots at his masculinity, the whole nine. I'm like,
you know what was running through my head the whole time, Mandrell, when I heard that, when he told that part, I'm like, run! Run!
Run, Forrest, run!
I swear to God, you know, you freak chicks out of nowhere. You're a shocker, but if he would have put it down easy as soon as I hit that door, I'd have ran. I promise you, I'd have ran.
What kills me though is I think one of the interesting things a lot of people don't realize is what makes women dangerous is the most powerful thing they have is their words, you know?
Yeah.
And there's no law against a woman using her words against a man, right? So the law looks at physical touch as a crime, you know? Now you can threaten someone that you're going to harm them, but as far as insulting, emasculating, condescending, disrespecting with your words, there's no crime against that. Yeah. So the law doesn't really account for that part. As a man, me and my wife, we're here together. We get into a big fight. But before hands even go on, it's, hey, you know, your dick's little. Hey, you're no good in bed, right? It's hey, you know, that's why, you know, our neighbors don't know your name because you're not doing nothing, right? So, but these things impact us as men, you know, and people don't ever like to talk about that, how that makes a man feel. We have feelings too. We have emotions too. Men are not robots. And oftentimes what ends up happening is I'll show up at a person's house and I have a woman, her eye is black and she's like, he hit me. And I'm like, okay, calm down. I say, what happened? Right? What happened? You know, just like how Mika said, she was like, I'm coming to you guys and I'm crying, and we're gonna just come to her. I'm looking at her like, why did you get hit? Right? That's the first. Yeah. Why did you get hit?
I gotta take my statement back, actually.
Okay. All right.
Because I just remembered my own story. Okay, so I've told you now that like I had that incident where the guy threw me, and
okay.
Motherfucker. Anyways, so when that whole thing happened, part of the thing that like my whole world crumbled down was because when I told my friends, they said that, where it's like, what did you do? And this man was drunk. It had nothing to do with me. He got in a fight with his friend and he started hurting himself. And I tried to tell him, like, stop hurting yourself. This man was banging his head into the wall, like breaking it. And I was trying to like get him to stop. And instead he turned around and he threw me and the bed. So I like rolled onto the nightstand.
Oh, he was calculating.
Yeah. And oh, really? Well, here's the thing is that like when I told people like I didn't do shit, no, all those people that were my friends for like 7-8 years went with him, and they all kept, when we broke up, they were all like, he's going through a lot, blah blah blah. I'm like, the fuck? Like I got left with the bills. I got left like literally shorthanded because we were living together. I found out that he had been cheating. I had that whole situation, and the way that people reacted was like I didn't have any support at all. And I'm now remembering this, so it's like I it's I feel like in either way, either situation, whether it's a man or a woman, there's a lot of hurdles that you have to kind of go through. But it's also like I also take responsibility. It's the kind of people I was hanging out with, right? If I mean, Angelus and I had the conversation of someone was defending us. I'm like, why are they doing that? He's like, because that's what we do. It's called loyalty. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I have better people now. Like, you know what I mean? And it's so I do have to take that part back because it's like I think anytime anyone says something out loud, they are met with questions, and a lot of times they need some sort of like protection or like comfort,
Right.
men or women, because
Right.
it's I do agree 100% that men, I think it's happening now, but like men have needed support the way women have gotten support for a long time.
Too long.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
me personally, I'm the same with Nathan. I don't talk that much, bro. Like I'm good with some social events, but I'm chill, laid back. But I'm all about the actions, and it should go on both ends with women too. You start doing this too much for me, I'm gonna start asking the dumbass questions.
Facts.
And if I start asking questions, light bulbs start running, and after that, and you start keep saying the dumb stuff, I'm just gonna now I'm just watching you.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And
It's
and,
just,
and
go ahead.
go ahead, Lou.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, but that's the thing, and in this case right now with Amber Heard, one of the unique things I notice is, and I tell people this on my channel when we talk about domestic violence and the difference between the power men have. Men have physical power, right? We don't have verbal or believable power, right? Women have the power of like believableness, right? Like you hear a woman say certain things, just like, all right, well, I trust that she's saying it's true, right? And a lot of times you're more likely to question the guy than question the woman. Unfortunately, society is just unfortunately has developed that way.
Oh my
Women,
God, I just figured it out.
It's the power of inspiration.
It's just no, it's yeah, because it's not like I was crying to these people like, oh, this happened. I was like, this is what happened. I'm explaining, and Angelus knows me by now that like I lie. I have a lot of like male-esque tendencies, especially when it comes to that stuff. So I wasn't like crying like, oh my God, no wonder. And he was, which is why everyone went to him.
right?
It's sorry.
I got
So
you, Mika.
men, you need to.
You were saying?
All right, there you go.
That's the truth. I mean, I think men don't show emotion,
Yeah.
right? So it's not believable, you know. And I think at the end of the day is men are told that showing emotion is a sign of weakness, and ultimately no, it's a sign of you being human. Hey, I didn't like the way she said this, she said that. It made me feel bad. I didn't like the way, you know, this went down or whatever. You have, unfortunately, we see it again with Amber Heard. What is she doing? She is basically rebuilding events through her own reality. And when women do that, it's exaggerated truths. You know, there was one conversation they had, and this is very consistent amongst, you know, women who are in an emotional state when they're angry. It's easy for them to exaggerate events, you know, based on how it made them feel. And so, you know, they had a discussion and he said, hey, you hit me, you punched me last night. She was like, I didn't punch you, I barely touched you, right? He's like, no, your hand was balled up, right? The definition of a punch, he's describing it, and you struck me in the face. And she's like, get over it, I barely hit you, right?
Yeah.
So to her, it's like, this is not even a strike. I barely tapped you, I barely shoved you. And
But
he's
that's
like,
her
no,
mind.
you punched me in the face, ma'am. That's what it is.
But that's
And
the mentality again.
That's the mentality, and
But then-
this is true.
In
And
her
also, Nathan,
mind, she's like, I'm a female, so I'm this frail itty bitty thing, and you're a
I
guy.
can't hurt you.
It's
Right.
the same reason why men don't meet. We've been discussing it, that men don't have the comfort of people really consoling you guys if you have emotions, because the mentality is you can take it.
Correct.
Yeah, and she also, after he described the punch, she also started making excuses. Well, you're a man, so I can't hurt you because I'm a woman. Like she actually said that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And,
like,
and that goes
like,
internally
again,
too. The words that are being said hurt men. Whether you're a man or a woman, I have the same thing where it's like people don't think they hurt me, but they severely hurt me. If I cut someone off and it's a friendship that ends because you severely hurt me, I'm not going to cry over you, but I'm going to go home and I'm going to cry myself to sleep, letting that relationship go. And I feel like that's a lot of the things that the men have to go through. And a lot of men don't even go home and cry. They just suck it up. And it's so how would that change? Because it's a two-parter. It's one is that society, how we treat those situations, how women treat men in those situations. But then don't men have to also show more emotion and try to as well?
I think what needs to happen is the same amount of effort we put into creating programs and support services for women. We need to put the same amount of effort into supporting men. And let me tell you why. Because the overall bulk of women's death is due to an intimate partner taking their life. And this is from men who have no control over their emotions, right? You're talking about men who get no support. No one listens to them. Nobody cares. There's no justification of it. But when you start looking at men who are not getting emotional support, it's the same thing we see with veterans, right? If they don't get any support, right? They turn out to end up becoming, either homeless or deviant, acting out in deviant behavior. They become violent. We talk about mental health issues. Because they serve and they do all kind of God knows what, then they come back and then it's like, okay, we'll stand over there, right? You did what you did and you just kind of, you suffer in silence. So what's happening is a lot of men are suffering in silence emotionally and they don't know how to basically express themselves without using physical violence. And then they snap and they take a woman's life. We talk about in the Black community, the way they look at it is like this. Over 50%, about 50, I want to say it's about 52%, but approximately 52% of Black women who have been actually killed, their life has been taken by an intimate partner. That's 50%. So that is a problem, right? That's why half of the deaths of the women, Black women, are being caused by an intimate partner. There's a lot that needs to be looked into. Right. Not saying none of that stuff is justifiable, taking anybody's life. But the idea that you have a bunch of emotional men, right, who decide that is the way they're going to handle a situation. Right. So, again, emotional people tend to use permanent methods to solve temporary problems, and then they cry about it afterwards after they're doing life or they're in the chair. Right.
Yeah, but they snapped, and that's the part where it's like if there was so the way that it is currently is like you have mental health facilities, but they're not primarily focused on making men comfortable even going there because there's a stigma with it. Right. And then the only actual thing that we have in America that says, yes, go get help, yes, we are here to help you, and that is socially acceptable is if you've served in the military. That's the only time that it seems that it's like it's promoted to go seek help. And that there's more options. But in regards to what we're talking about, there's not really much out there unless you go seek mental health and then you're labeled like there's something wrong with you.
Right.
But the thing is that there's not.
But there's women and battered children's centers. There's all sorts of organizations. I get that. Sorry, Mandrell.
No problem. My mistake. I didn't know you were still going. But even with veterans, they promote and push us. They push us all the time to go get mental health. But when you go to get mental health, there ain't much there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's very little. Even when you go to the VA, it's so regimented and scripted till it's like when you walk in there and you start this, and then you finish that form of therapy. When you go to the next step, the next step of therapy, you go to the next step of therapy. You're like, okay, this is a script.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is regimented. This is a curriculum. It's like, this ain't real help.
You get better services going to a privately funded service for military as opposed to the VA. The VA, it's like you said, it's like cookie cutter.
Yeah, it is. And one size doesn't fit all because, like, for me, there was very little that actually helped. Like, most of the help I got was like, I just watching people and just being honest with myself and honestly wanting and putting the work in to fixing myself. That's what most of it came from.
We see you're doing a great job at it too, Mandrell.
Really? How about this, Nathan?
Oh,
Yeah. No, I will say I'm saying it genuinely because the amount of people that get help when they need it from the military is very small. So thank you for your service and being an example for that. I have a lot of friends that served, and I mean, my godfather was a Marine. You know what I mean? So it's very, very relevant. You are a really good example. I'm saying it genuinely.
Thank you.
Fuckers.
Appreciate that.
And I like to say to you, Mandrell, I appreciate you.
Focus up now, motherfucker, and say
People were so mad that he did that role. I thought it was amazing.
I thought it was funny.
Did too.
Yeah, I
thought
loved
it.
it.
I thought it was hilarious, man. I wasn't mad at him at all.
I wasn't. I didn't recognize
wasn't.
nobody. Whoever was playing whatever opposite character playing, I didn't recognize nobody. I loved it.
It took me a while. It took me a while to realize that was him. And then the Tom Cruise one.
That was the best one.
It took me a while to realize that was Tom Cruise. I was like,
yeah.
Wait, is that Tom Cruise?
The rage on that dude was hilarious. But let me read some of these chats real quick. So shout out to Primo. Primo says, let's keep it 100. There's a double standards in this type of situation. Yeah. I agree with that.
We did.
Yeah. But
we all agreed.
I always tell people that every gender has its pros and cons, though. And this is the cons for man, right? If you're a man, this is one of the cons of being a man. You know, being a man or whatever. And so, unfortunately, every gender has pros and cons. I mean, again, a woman's voice is her weapon. A man's fist is his weapon. So again, I mean, it's balance, right?
Mm-hmm. So how do we handle that little balance? So pretty much it just, and this is me just saying it on my opinion, just vet wisely, look at all the signs, try not to, and this is for the guys in here. We know we're not going to get all the candy like the women get all the candy in the street. So we got to have that control down our pants.
Well, and it's also supporting, because I've seen a big difference when it's men supporting other men. Because I could say, I mean, the women have
that's a small group though,
right? And that's why I'm saying it, because women, we have the power to be able to like raise up our kings. Men have the same power to raise up their queens, not in individual, but like I just gave you a compliment, Mandrell, about getting mental health, right? It's that simple, but it still doesn't make such a big significance when you don't have like Mandrell, if you take like 5 other military guys under your wing and you tell them when they're breaking down and they're showing emotion, it's okay, you're not in the military anymore. This is a part of the process. That is what really, really makes a difference. Because at the end, go ahead.
I was gonna say, let me respectfully push back on that one too, because the beginning of what you're saying, it's like it's already at the ending of the outcome. It's like, okay, good job. The men in general is saying, hey, at that moment when it's either witnessed, seen, heard, or you.
Yeah, I wasn't specifying
I'm not
beginning
saying
or end. I'm saying in general, beginning, middle, end, prior, whatever part of it. If someone's if someone is speaking and they're talking about what's happening and they're struggling, we don't say stop crying. We don't say be a man. We don't say men don't have feelings. You're being a little bitch. Like. And that's the problem. Like, how many times on this platform do guys, because they're being respectful towards me and they're not calling me a bitch, they're not calling me a whore, and they're not calling me names, that the whole chat is blowing up. Oh, they're simping. Oh, he's simping. Oh, that's simping. And it doesn't have to do with anything other than they're being respectful. That goes along with it. You can't, if we're tearing each other, if every person, God, I'm like a unicorn. I'm like a leftist unicorn right now. If everyone supported each other.
But that's facts though. But that's the world we live in. I mean, for example, and I quote Vaughn all the time because he'll say, he's like, why don't we just push forward, right? And it's stuck in my head for 2 weeks straight. And I'll get on other platforms and I'll hear complaint. And I said, well, what's the results? What's the answer? Let's work on that. And then everybody get quiet for a good moment. And I'll say, you know what? This is what I heard. I was on one platform, shout out to Marcus. I went on. He said, hey, this is chill over there. Is, you have a good conversation. And I just listened. And I just heard facts of complaints and statistics and blah, blah. And I said, okay, well, how do we push forward? And everybody got quiet. And I said, you know what? Let me point at this gentleman. This gentleman here said, he helped out a student. It wasn't his son. He helped him get all his grades and statistics, everything else, and he got the dream job he wanted. I say, now you know what he can do? He can take everything you gave him, plant those seeds, and do the same thing for the next person. Maybe three. So that's what I got to say about that one. But let me read this the last few here. Shout out to Gail. I guess she was response to you when you was telling your story, Maker. She said, "No, I would leave and let you have the house and everything."
I did.
Shout out to Gail.
Yeah,
I
shout out
did
to Gail.
leave. I was like, have them all.
Yeah. And again, we going back to what Primal said earlier. She said, "Yeah, let's be clear, both of them is crazy." Yeah, everybody got their own equal dose of insanity. Their own equal dose of insanity. So I appreciate that. But leading to that, back to what Nathan was saying about how girls or women say certain things and guys will simping. So I want to chime on this one. This was another content that Nathan did, and that was a good work because I don't. Again, most people. I try to do my homework on people before I even step my foot in other people's spaces, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, and I know me. If I can't physically get my hands on you,
I keep my mouth shut.
I keep my mouth shut.
I'm the same way. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. Yeah.
So I'll do all the smiling. I'll do that.
Hey,
so,
don't let me get your IP address, you guys out there. It's game over. It's game over.
Get a VPN, people. Get a VPN.
That part. All right, so I want to share this just to make valid of a point with the Amber Turd situation. Remember, guys, hashtag Amber Turd. Keep the thumbs up. Hashtag Amber Turd. That's the new name. But I want to give another example of what we was talking about. How women just pretty much can do whatever majority of women could do whatever they want, and men still sent for them, come to them on a negative way. Because if we give them compliments,
right,
beta. But if a chick come out her mouth. Slap you, cut you, do whatever. Next thing you know, well, it's all right, man. Go. That's your wife. Go talk to. Okay, we're gonna talk it out now. But just a moment ago, I opened the door for her. Simp.
Yeah. Sad.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, make it understand for me. So I don't know.
So I'm about to get something foreign messing with these ones over here.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let me play this real quick. And I'm only gonna play like a minute of it. Oh, I'm Petty Nate, so I got to ask the question. I know you already gave consent, but I'm going to ask this right here because another content creator claimed I didn't do this for them, but I have receipts on that.
Right.
Mr. Real Nathan Daley, is it okay I give permission to play this out in entirety?
Absolutely.
Okay,
you simping hard. You're so simpy.
Okay. Beta. All right, here we go.
Okay. This nigga, you cannot make this up. This nigga tells me that it is him who would never have a conversation with me in real life. It would be me wanting to have the conversation with him, and it is him who would not speak to me. When in real life, men like this that see me in the street and I walk past and all my 6-foot feminine glory, smelling good, looking good, confident, shit bricks when I walk past. And when they see me walk, they're polarized and they're just like,
shit bricks when she walks past.
Damn.
Shit bricks when they walk past. I didn't see that.
You missed out.
Clearly
you missed out.
Clearly you missed out on all that 6-foot feminine glory, smelling good, looking.
She could have shitted bricks on you, sir.
I know.
I think she's being a bit presumptuous saying that she looks good. I mean, that's subjective.
All I heard when I heard her talk that whole time was.
Right.
That's all I heard.
That's exactly what it was, man. That's exactly what it was. Hey, Nathan, get used to it. I love it.
Welcome to the Great Pill Podcast, sir.
Man,
right. I love it. I love when he does that.
Listen, now you got me I got to step my game up now.
right. You know what? Like Angelus, that's the first thing I thought the first time I was on a panel of your show and you were doing this. I was like,
yeah, I gotta.
Like I looked at the camera one time and I jumped my jaw. I was like, "What? This dude is on it."
You know what? We're just like y'all guys. You got the one case grab you just hit. I was there celebrating it for that. I was celebrating for the 900. We was rocking it out. My man was at 894. Nathan, I swear to you.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, he's gonna close out. And Poppy shot the Poppy Blanco. That's how people's over here. He's like, why don't we just stay here until get the other? It's only 4. We stayed there like the whole time, so we got the other just to make it 900. Dope. Yeah, And here I am, I seen Mr. Real Nathan Daley with the 10K celebrate just the other day, and you doing it raw and uncut.
Hey man,
I'm trying. We trying to catch up to you.
Oh man, you gonna get there, bro. You gonna get there. We're gonna get there, and I'm gonna make sure I shout your channel out on my side too, man. We're gonna get you.
It's just really nice to like, because we've been on the BS side of YouTube and we've also been on this side of YouTube, which is it's I really love. That's part of the reason why I love doing this shit. I don't have time for this, and I would not be able to do this without Angelus. Period. Because there's so much work that he does on the back end to make things happen the way that he does. But I love these conversations. And so many people are unwilling to have them. And those that are willing to have them, like you said earlier, they're so good on their BS on being able to master manipulate conversations that they don't actually spit out facts, and they miscommunicate and they misinform people that are watching these things. That's why I gave you the compliment earlier. I'm like, you are actually about it. I get what you're saying. I get why you're saying it that way. You're looking at the greater good of all this shit.
Right.
Hey man, Joe, you always keep it real. I love you.
It's tough because, to be honest, I spent my entire career talking to delusional people on different scales, right? Different levels.
That's why you're good at it. I was a counselor. That's why I was.
So you know exactly what I mean. From killers to drug dealers, drug addicts. You're having conversations with people, and honestly, I'm a very analytical person, and I've always tried to figure people out because sometimes I just didn't understand like why people make the decisions that they make. And when I went to school, finally decided to go to school, I went to school for criminology. And that opened my eyes, just down to the psyche, of a person and how people create their own reality in order to, I would say, mitigate their stress. You form your own world in order to live in denial because it's too difficult for some people to face reality. That's the accountability piece. We keep telling people, hey, you got to be held accountable. I'm like, no, I can't. Casper is the reason why I'm miserable and my life is and my generations of this and generation. It's the white man. It's this, it's that. It's like, sir, you just shot a person yesterday, right? There were no white people around. You made that decision.
Yeah.
And some people, their world falls apart once they realize that no one else made them do it but them, right? And then I sit with them, interview them, and I'm breaking down how they got there in life. Hey, remember when you robbed that bank? Oh, okay, and then you got arrested. Okay, remember? Then you stopped going to school and you dropped out. As a sophomore. Remember that? Yeah. Okay, well then this is what happened after that, and I walked them down memory lane, back to why we are here today, and their mind is blown.
Yeah.
And what happens to people is they continue to lie to themselves to sedate their reality. And then eventually it catches up to them and they spend an undisclosed amount of time in prison and they come out and then we have a conversation again. It's like, man, I wish I would have listened to you when I got in. You have enough time to get, you pause. It's a pause and you have a chance to reflect. There's no distraction. There's no one you can blame but yourself. And for some people, it's painful, man. It's so much easier to blame someone else or substances than to blame your own actions.
See, can I tag along with something?
Sure, 1 second real quick. Hey, what's going on? Lucky, shout out to you.
Oh, hey, girl.
Hey, y'all about to see me pop in from my computer. I don't know. I clicked it from when you sent it to me and it kept saying doesn't work. So I had to kind of like send it through myself, then come on my phone, do a whole lot of stuff. So
okay, you want me? Okay, we'll give you a minute while you take care of it.
Yeah, you about to see me in the background again or backstage.
Okay. All right. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
What I was gonna because people don't. It's the moment that what you're talking about is like everybody, and this is anybody and everybody, unless you're in a full-blown psychosis that you're far from reality, you always have this moment of clarity.
Yeah.
It's just a moment where it's like, what am I doing? How did I get here? What the fuck is happening? Why do I have a gun in my hand? Everybody has that. They have that moment of clarity. So, and I've had that. That's why I don't drink. I haven't drank for like 11 years now. So it's like I've had those moments where it's like, how did I get here? And you have to take that.
Yes.
It's hard, but you do have to take
real
it.
hard.
And it takes practice. And I think it's not something that you come to terms with on your own. Sometimes some people can do it. Some people have the ability and the strength to do it, but to be honest, it's something that has to be trained over time. Holding yourself accountable, it's a self accountability thing. Like your self esteem, that's on you, right? No one else is responsible for unfucking you, right? When you are tangled up, that is your job to untangle yourself. And I think what happens is we've got so comfortable wanting and expecting other people to unravel our mess that we put ourselves in or our family put us in. But at the end of the day, the world doesn't care. You know, the world doesn't care at all.
Hold on, Nate. She got to step out because she's going to have the birthday dinner with mom. So, do you have any closing thoughts, real quick, before you dip of everything that's going on?
Come visit us again, Nathan.
Absolutely.
Mandrell, come visit us again. I wish I had the background. No offense, Nathan. I'm Hispanic, so it's like.
Okay, all right. Now, listen, hey, despacio, okay? Because at the end of the day, you know, y'all need us. Y'all know.
There's good ones. There's good ones.
This is true.
I will say that. Just like in every gender, there's good ones and there's bad ones. Other than that, thank you, husband, for holding it down. And Amber Heard is fucking psychotic, and Johnny Depp, I don't think he's completely innocent. Not at all. I don't think he's completely innocent, but I don't think he did what she said he did. I think he needs help. He needs severe help so he doesn't do this shit again, because he will, and it'll be worse the following time. And everybody needs to know. Didn't Amber Heard have a baby or something? I heard.
I don't know.
No? Okay, I hope not. We'll look into it. But anyways, thank you guys for being on the panel. Thank you, everybody in the chat, and I hope you guys have a good night.
Have a good one.
All right. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Great. Now I'm stuck with Mandrell's face.
Yes, you are. Yes, you're stuck with me now.
She brought the ultimate balance to the chick. Jeez.
Yeah, and I brought the heat for you today. Look at
it. Yeah, I see.
You're gonna see a lot more.
You know what's so funny? Since I started my channel, it seems like a lot of people want to use me as a punching bag for the police.
Really?
Listen, you keep that same energy when you get pulled over next time, right?
Yep.
Keep that same energy.
Yep. I tell people all the time. They'll say like Mandra earlier, and I'll currently I think I'm pro E-Man just cause, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta keep that same energy. I go in there, I root for E-Man all the time, and then it was something that was said, and I'm sticking blindly to it. And on a platform, he had one idea, and then as soon as a pretty face came up, he flipped. And so I've been on him the whole day. So I'm like, yo, keep that same energy, man. I'm defending equal rights on both ends.
Yes, sir.
Equal rights on both ends. So yeah. But with that being said, man, so like the whole Amber thing, and just the situation with this the content you just did. Well, what made you decide to do that? Because I saw, and this could be me just guessing on her end. I saw a triggered woman and went back in her cave to write on the wall so everybody can see, and it's like my house, my rules,
right?
And that's what I took from it. And and this is for the viewers out there, whoever, I'm not gonna call her name, I give her a light, you can just go by the face, but this is a perfect example. She literally called strangers she don't know niggas. She literally said to another stranger again that was married, I'm not married. He's ahead of the game than I am. Right? And she swore, this is her words, I'm quoting her, I can literally poop out golden nuggets and he will do XYZ for me and then some. Who does that? But yet you got all these guys subbing to her, subscribing to that individual, clicking likes to that individual. I'm sure this person went live, would have had super chat after super chat. That is a problem. That's a problem that we're dealing with right there. A pretty face and a smile Go a long way.
Yeah, there's terms. Everybody has these terms and terminology. I'm old school. I'm like that's cowardly, right? We got some men who are they fall prey to a woman's smile, and you find out she's Medusa, right? And these sirens out here, and you hear the music. Next, you're tap dancing, right? She got the siren ability, because as men, if you don't realize how this same woman could cause you the same amount of damage and pain, send you to prison behind false allegations. She don't look too cute anymore, right? Unfortunately, women like that who don't get their way, if you don't exalt them, if you don't put them on a pedestal, then she has no purpose for you, right? Absolutely no purpose. You serve her no purpose, because that mentality is that of like a vampire, right? It's a parasitic relationship. I need to drain something from you, yet you cannot take nothing from me.
That's
I
the key
need
word.
you. Yeah, I need the likes on the buttons. I need you to, I've seen some women on Instagram working cases. They'll put out photos and say, "Hey, if I don't get 1,000 likes, I'm not posting anymore." Right? This is the mindset of women like that. And so again, it's a thing where I look at the psychosis of it, of men who fall for it. Because I had some men come into my video making statements and saying that I wasn't a man for addressing it. And one guy said, "Hey, you made a 7-hour video about her." I said, "No, it wasn't about her. It was about the mentality."
Yeah.
Right? It's about the man. It had nothing. She was simply just a poster child, a case study for the problem that's pervasive in our community.
Yeah.
Right? When women use their image, listen, I tell guys all the time, beauty does not equate to quality. And
No, not at all.
Beauty does not correlate to feminine, right? So you could be attractive and be completely a masculine thought, right?
Yep.
So again, her weaponizing her femininity, right, to earn money, to make money. She's weaponized it, and she put it in a box in a bow, and she's selling it to women, and then she's selling it to men. It's performative femininity, is what it is. It's a performance, meaning she's doing it to monetize her image, right? And this is what we're seeing in our community today on TikTok. I can't even scroll through Instagram without seeing somebody's ass cheek on the countertop, right? Every TikTok video, right? They're infused into the Instagram. As I'm scrolling, I see the shorts. It seems like it's nothing but women dancing and skimpy outfits, sometimes with their kid, sometimes with multiple girls, and they're doing weird moves, like, right? And it has nothing to do with the song, right? It's like just weird shit for no reason. But I see them with their breast out. I see them with their legs out. And again, I'm asking myself, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, what is the purpose of it?
Yeah.
Everything. I hate that women have to. I won't say women. I hate that some women feel they need to sexualize themselves for attention. That they feel like they need to do that to validate themselves. There's a lot of beautiful women out here, and unfortunately, see some of them on social media lending their body, lending their sexuality, lending their femininity out for attention.
Well, let me hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off, bro. Let me address this real quick. Big Bad Bull says, "Let me say this again," because he brought it up earlier. He said, "We are talking about a woman being triggered by a chaotic." Anybody don't know chaotic? He's he has his own content on his end, right? By chaotic, one of the biggest trolls in these YouTube streets. Y'all need to cut the sister some slack. I will say this. Again. I don't know if I'm gonna say it because it is crazy because it's like you have to repeat yourself over and over
again. Ask him if he saw the whole video.
Yeah. Did you copy that Big Bull? Did you see the whole video? But even not the video, go on her whole content. Like I say, I do my homework before I step in anybody's room.
Facts.
I vet my women before I even get further with them after the asking their number. and I give you an example. Let's just say, for example, Lucky, I see her, she's very attractive. Of course, I'm approach her. I'm gonna get the number, right? If she allowed me to give me the number. After that, we're gonna have a conversation on the phone. If she's saying some stuff that's not validating for me, I'm gonna step off. The same vice versa with her. If I'm saying something that's gonna trigger her the wrong way, it's talking out. She's gonna move on. You gotta vet the people you start dealing with, even these YouTube streets. Now I saw all her content. Nigga, this. Disrespect that.
Yeah, no, this individual. Here's the thing: where Big Bad Bull is overlooking, and I haven't read the comments. You know me; I'm not really.
I'm sorry. Well, I apologize. Like you had just came in on the tail end of it. We was pretty much, letting Mr. Daley have his grace and explain his content to the viewers out here because he's new on this side of space. We was addressing the issue with the Amber Turd, that's what I'm calling her, with the Johnny Depp situation court case, and it led up to just pretty much opening up the door of how most women use their pretty, I know we talked about before, either their pretty privilege or their quote unquote big butt and a smile, and say pretty much whatever they want, and a lot of other men will still go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs just because of it. So that's where we're pretty much on that right now.
And this individual we're talking about is a woman who made a long video. They're on Nathan about making a 7-hour video, giving a critique and a breakdown of human behavior. The person in question, she used her femininity as a weapon by saying, like, she come onto a panel, had the discussion, and said, okay, now I feel unsafe. You're making me feel, pointing to a guy on the panel, you're making me feel unsafe. And I'm calling for all the men on the panel to protect me. And I'm like, okay. And every one of us are like, oh, wait, you hear that kind of language? I mean, you know what you can do with that? Thing is, she knows, and she's dead wrong for it. And that, in my opinion, should be the highlight of the conversation. We're addressing a comment that Big Bad Bull made.
What was the situation where she felt like she needed protection?
It was the thing.
I didn't personally see it.
Here's the thing. There's a gentleman on there named goes by the name of the Chaotic Truth, right?
Oh.
Okay, we're talking about Six the Goddess. Addressed him. They had a conversation. Apparently, she didn't like how the conversation was going. It was a back and forth, and she started making personal attacks on him.
I'm familiar. Okay.
Right, that whole thing. Yeah, that whole thing. And so that's what we're on now. Big Bad Bull is talking about.
Yeah, we're just addressing a comment in the comment section. So that's pretty much what
he said. She's cool people. My thing is, any woman who does that, Big Bad Bull, is not cool people. I've said, you've heard me say this before, dude. Do not fall for the pretty. It ain't. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Pretty is a dime a dozen.
But Mandrell, you said you don't even know what she needed protection from.
She didn't know. It was a lie.
Okay.
You know what I mean? No one threatened her. No one threatened her. No one said that they were going to do anything to her, or anything of that nature. She just didn't like the direction the conversation was going. That's what it boils down to. And because she couldn't have her way, she, like a brat, she yells and screams.
I know from when I was actually very present in the chat.
Okay.
And from my perspective, I did not disagree with how she felt.
Okay.
From what I saw, but I'm listening to how you guys see it. So
no, I would love to hear another outside female perspective on it.
Okay, so I have to. What is the argument at hand? Like, what did she say specifically? I guess so I can give an opinion on it, or are you just saying the situation? Because I'd rather not.
Yeah, I totally understand. I mean, Nate, if you want to take this, because again, we were just addressing a comment for number one, just in correlation to just women pretty much saying what they want to say and trying to weaponize certain things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Big Bad Bull had brought up in the chat, so we was addressing that. But if Nate want to address it, because he actually did the whole content of it, breaking it down. So if you want to repeat the same question, because you kind of broke in two of it. Like,
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
1 second. And my only thing I'll say, my issue with that whole thing is when she started saying that she felt unsafe and she felt like the guys on the panel need to protect her. I'm like, that's where everything went left for me. You know what I mean? That's what I was like, okay.
So it didn't go left before then for you?
I mean, there's just a bunch of chickens clucking at each other before that. I mean, it was a cockfight.
Okay, well, let Lucky. Yeah,
it was a cockfight. So
hey, you too friendly, sir, and let Lucky voice
not
your
that one, the rooster.
Okay, but still, you too friendly. But Lucky, what's your? Because again, I wasn't there. Only saw the video entirely. I'm from the outside looking in, right? Mr. Nathan was there.
Okay, so chaotic truth.
Yes.
He's racist.
I'll fair.
So I mean,
fair.
I mean, if he was if he was Caucasian, would we feel a way about some things that he said, or would we feel the same? Would we feel differently? That's how I look at situations.
Yeah.
So for me, how the conversation went, I feel like the original question was relevant. Now, me personally, because I already had negative interactions with this individual, any space that I'm in with someone like that or anything like that, I don't be in the space because I don't want to go back and forth. I don't want to get there with you, especially if I understand we are in a panel and some people have different views on it and they may allow it. So me personally, no. But I looked at it as a woman who felt a way and felt strongly about her perspective. And she was passionate about her perspective. So when she called in and she asked him a specific question, he was already offended by the question because he knew where it was leading to based on the topic. So I have to look at the whole thing. So you are already going off, which opens the door for going off. Now, I can see where men say, okay, if he's going off, she should have removed herself. But we also can say, why didn't men step in and say, hold on, chill, that's the lady. Answer the question, or do you have a problem? Answer the question. It was almost like we had to dissect the question like the question was a problem, but the things that he was saying that were racist was not the problem. So then it's kind of like you can see a person can feel uncomfortable. So I think that if you're on a panel where everybody has their opinions, okay, this is how he's giving feedback. You can tell it's a negative response. She responded. So then he's responding. So now you just have a response type of situation where now we're trying to equate asking somebody, if I recall correctly, y'all can correct me, and Nathan, you were there. You're trying to compare me asking you where your parents from to what color are my panties or something like that. Is that what we're talking about?
No, he was trying to say that
the same too.
Yeah, but well, to be fair, yeah, the reason why he made that question about the color of the panties is that he was saying that you asking me what country my parents are from is just as relevant as me asking you what color your panties are. Like it had nothing to do with the subject at all.
Well, if we're talking about
that's the topic, that's the point he was trying to make.
Right, but if we're talking about policies and things like that, and you are seen by this individual as a person who's not traditionally from here, and you're making strong allegations that if he was a white person or that lady that was married to Johnny Depp, how far will we let it go? I mean, there was an incident with the mirror chick, you know what I'm saying? So if this was a mirror, would it be the same? I have to ask that question. So it's like the question was relevant. Where are your parents from? Now, as the man, you can sit up there and say, I don't want to answer that question, but you are judging us in America on certain things, but you're not from America. So I can see how a person could get offended because he doesn't want to answer the question, but that doesn't mean the question was not relevant. The panties has nothing to do with anything about the conversation other than you just wanted to be an asshole.
Fair.
But that's fair. I don't know. I would say when someone's making an analogy to make their point about how irrelevant a certain question is, I think whatever analogy a person uses doesn't really matter. I think what was the main issue? The main issue is he's an American. He was born in this country, and he hasn't invested his time and career doing a particular job. He was speaking on what he knows. My thing is, there's an issue with what he said, then address his statement, right? What she was trying to do was discredit what he was saying because she was unable to counter it. I think it's it's a thing when you have reason why I always say you have to take your emotions out of it. was because she could have just played it cool and addressed what he was saying and addressed it on an intellectual level and made him look stupid. She could have totally fought back on his statement if she was able to counter it, but she couldn't. She wanted to lead with an emotional argument. The man's an American, right? He was born here. And so to say that his experience X amount of years doing a particular job, he can't speak on that, is asinine. Here's the other problem. The other problem is you'll have a group of people who say, okay, well, I'm FBA, Foundational Black American. So I'm the only one who should be allowed to critique issues in Black America, though all of our skin is Black, right? Now, if you really look at it and break it down, the whole idea of all this division and separation sounds a little silly, but here's the biggest problem. You can have someone who is FBA who agrees with probably 80% of the things that he said. So if you have another person who's from this country who has lineage tied to American slaves, and they say, hey, I agree with about 90 now, he says things in a way, he makes statements in a way where it's inappropriate. Absolutely true. I agree with it. And I've spoken to him about it a couple times.
Yes.
He does it because he's trying to get attention. And it's entertaining for YouTube, and it works because the same people who've been complaining about it bring them back up on the panel, right? And the same people who say they don't like it are watching the streams again and again and again. So the question isn't so much about him as much as it's about the people who are bringing him up. There's only one person who had control over that entire panel, and his face was not on the panel. He controls that. So from what I've seen from the last 2 weeks of this situation, is a lot of misguided anger pointed at the wrong people. One person has control over the mic on this panel right now, on this show, right? Not me, not Mandrell, and not you, Lucky. If I'm starting to say something that's inappropriate or I'm getting out of line, or I might damage the credibility of this platform, guess who's getting muted and getting dropped, right? So we have to first ask, why is our community so anxious for this level of entertainment, right? People said, okay, he's spewing racist statements, but people listened, right? People listened and they welcomed him back and they were there enjoying it. Hey, can you bring Chaotic back? It's entertaining. See, the question is not so much about him as much as about us and why we feel like that type of content is what we need to be digesting, right? The problem I have with this whole argument about foreigners, this, that, and the other, I agree to certain things. I agree. What I don't agree with is if someone has wisdom and they have knowledge to share and they have expert knowledge to give, I think it's all in our best to listen, at least listen. And then if you have a counter argument, make the counter argument. The problem is with her logic that she was using is that there are FBAs who agree with everything that I said. And the problem is that the issue then becomes if someone who is FBA that says something that other FBAs don't agree with, they're called a sellout. They're called a coon, right? They call it, the white man's puppet or white supremacist talking points. So then this becomes a situation of it's not about what's factual. It's about you don't agree with us, so you're not a part of us. You're not a part of this group. And that's what makes the logic very dangerous because it has nothing to do with people with opposing opinions anymore. It's just that this is what we believe. And if you don't believe with us, then we can't accept what you have to say. And I think that's counterproductive. I think it's very dangerous and it's very divisive overall. And it's ignorant. It's a very ignorant perspective to have, to dismiss someone who has knowledge about something simply because they believe that his lineage or her lineage doesn't tie to this country long enough to satisfy someone's personal opinion, or that this person's parents may not be from here, but they themselves was born here. They've experienced the entire Black experience, going to school. They live maybe in the hood, or unfortunately, we equate that to Black experience. You got to be in the hood to be Black, right? So again, this same person thought that calling him Carlton was an insult. Then the question lies, why do we feel that calling another man Carlton is supposed to be an insult when Carlton was an educated Black man who had two parents who were wealthy? right? And so when we start really breaking down what's the psychosis of it all, it's sick. It's sick. It's just like growing up. I hear people say, hey, you sound like a white man, right? You talk like a white person. Why? Because I articulate my words and I speak proper. How's that talking white? And why is talking Ebonics associated with being black? Right? So again, we have to be careful. And there's too much emotions in these arguments, you know, and I agree. I think knowing where he comes from, it does put things in context. But at the same time, the facts are the facts and they don't care about your feelings. And I think that's the part that a lot of people have trouble with dealing with. The facts are this, the facts are that, the facts are this. Just because you feel differently doesn't mean anything. You know, it means absolutely nothing. And this is why I feel like a lot of times, you know, we're stagnant. And the reason why I interjected myself in that conversation at the time was because, you know, I've worked in the Black community, right? And according to her, what I have to say is not valid, but you know, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. But
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So based on your perspective, I get your perspective. I guess my only pushback is the fact that what is the accountability on the man? Like what if, as far as getting so erratic based on the question? Why couldn't he articulate that like you?
That's a good question. I'm gonna tell you.
Why does she look bad for asking the question and being, but he doesn't look bad? It's kind of like he's like, oh, that's just who he is. There isn't any type of
he looks bad
slander for the man who says a lot of racial things in different spaces. And you said to get attention, that's like a child. So I guess I'm a little bit confused, as if men are leaders and they're supposed to be all these examples and we're doing all of this. The conversation should be more on the man to not respond emotionally, because that is a feminine thing. So I guess I'm trying to understand the way you articulated your point. If he felt that way, why couldn't he say, you know what, it doesn't matter where I'm from, I am from here, and articulate that argument? Why get so making an argument and be so outrageous with it, and then let that be justified, but she's wrong for responding based on him being out of control with his emotions? So I think that's my only concern. And I feel like the way you responded the conversation would have been different if she asked you a question.
Can I jump in real quick, knowledge, because I want to.
Yeah.
And I'm turning my camera off real quick, but I'm here. I have to adjust this.
Okay, you're fine. First of all, this is my take, because I'm the outside looking in, right? Lucky and Nathan, because I seen the whole thing entire. Like I said, and this is for everybody. I like to do my homework before I just jump on a panel, right? Or anything. If it's not for me, I'm not going there. You know, Poppy Blanco in the chat made a comment saying, hey, it's entertainment. Everybody shouldn't put that much effort into just like, you know, whatever to it. And that's fine too. But if you know that's certain, everybody content is different. So that certain content is pure entertainment, right? So again, me outside looking in, I don't know her from a can of paint. I had maybe 2-3 encounters with the individual, Chaotic, and the first expression of him was it's like what you see, what you get. But I saw him on another platform, and it literally was like a whole calm demeanor, yes sir, no sir, polite, casual discord, no rah, you know, that normal people see. And his name was changed on it, you know, so that's a whole different thing. And yeah, I kind of made a joke about it. I said I debated Chaotic. We literally had a great conversation, great discussion, whatever. So this is my thing with people. And again, with that being said, and the other women, the woman that we're bringing up, and again, no fault to hers, but it still could go back and forth, right? But if I'm coming onto a platform, let's say if I'm going to Jerry Springer show, I should know what I'm getting into when I go to Jerry Springer show. But if Jerry Springer has a guest pops up that has over 50,000 viewers, that person has to have some kind of awareness of what they're getting into coming on. I would not see Tom Cruise coming on to Jerry Springer. I would not see Martin Lawrence coming on Jerry Springer. It might be funny for a moment, but that's his reputational line. So if I come on a show like that and it's purely entertainment, and that's not how I'm representing myself, you know what I'm saying? Because according to Big Bad Bull's like, hey, even Sir Hill saying her content is great, is fire. But if I come onto something like that, I should know what I'm gonna get myself into, just for the moment. Because especially if I got 50K subscribers, I got so much invested in my content. So literally, I had to do some kind of homework. So now I come over here and I meet this one individual. You know how long it takes to grind just to get, again, congratulations to Nathan, just to get 10,000 subscribers on his own. Me, myself, and I wish at this time Mika just dipped out because she's celebrating her mom's dinner. And I can speak for this one. We both network all as far as we can in this YouTube game. I was blessed enough to come across you. I was blessed enough to come across Mr. Nathan. I was blessed enough to come across Black Unfiltered, Mandrill, and all these guys. And they're positive people, Even stuff, man, you spoke behind the scenes. And I every subscriber I got now, 200 something plus, I make damn sure I work hard for each subscriber because that's who I am.
Right.
I cannot bring, and since you mentioned accountability, just on how his personality was off the rip, I said I can't bring him on my show. I can't. I can't. And I know you just came on the tail end. I'm gonna say this again. You acting like that to me as an individual, a real person now. This is not no gamer stuff and all that. I can't do fake. Yeah. If anybody watch my content, I got no filters. I'm not gonna be as direct as Mandrill. I got no filters. So if I literally can't put my hands on you, you're gonna get smiles from me all day. You're gonna get a little sarcastic. You're gonna get witty. But believe me when I tell you, all the women that been on this panel, all the people that come through here, hey, I appreciate you, this, that, third, because this is what I want to bring to the table. It's not no black, it's not no white. It's always gonna be gray in the middle. And I like everybody's perspective. That's what we want. I want people coming out of here with respect. I want you, even especially you, because we just get to know each other. And I work for everything I put my hands on. But if I go on another platform blindly not know, it's on me.
She's been on that before.
Yeah, but that's not even the point.
Right.
It's just like if it's another woman does the homework and she got 50K subscribers, right. I'm coming in the door. You cannot say you're not going to get what you get. Even if Chaotic wasn't there, it could be another guy. And he didn't say the words he said. And it could be another guy just like, AUB. Then that guy could have been described as a black negative guy, hood guy on the street. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my take on it. But me personally, I hold everybody accountable. I dug in Mandrell's ass when he says some stuff, only because I love the brother. He knows. I dug in my moderators on them about the stuff they do. I dig on anybody. I don't lose sleep on nobody. I just don't care. But I'm just saying it on my side of the fence, the guys that roll with me, the people that's on my circle, I don't. If I was there, he'd got checked first and then went down the line. That's me. But you are definitely right. It could have started with him. I saw it started with him. She came in and addressed it. But you saw the energy before you came on. A lot of platforms I come on and I'll literally watch them live for 5-10 minutes straight. Let me go ahead and shoot my shot with the conversation. And once I get in there, it's still that same energy I was watching because you have to know what you get into. And now somebody's saying something out the box.
But, yeah, I've had an experience with that particular person twice. Mm-hmm. I know he had 2 names, so I think it's a thing where he does this a lot especially with women. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of men just think it's funny. We're at a time now where you can really say things that are racial and against people like his popular Harriet Tubman. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You could say things like that, and we can sit up here as Black people and allow the communication. But if this was a white person, we would be obviously. You know what I'm saying? This is racist. I think that's my only with the whole thing. Is just like I don't care what color he was, whatever was coming out of his mouth. I don't want to hear nothing you have to say. But I totally agree with Nathan's approach, where it's like you have to look at the accountability on who allowed this person.
Yes.
And why do we find this entertaining?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like what's funny about it, truthfully?
Yeah. Yeah, because something's wrong with you. something gotta be wrong with you if you. I mean, like for example, Mandrill make a joke about before like another platform, like we was talking about like we're in the South, right? And but we're from technically raised up in the city. You got car crashes, stolen cars, somebody getting robbed. Hey, hell, the mom probably slip on some glass of ice. You know what I'm saying? And we're just still like, okay, that's entertaining. I get it, but for the most part, my heart, let me go help this person out. Let me see what I can do for this person. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, in my circle, I'm not going to interject myself into something I know is that negative, that toxic. You know what I'm saying? Even on any platform, watch Black Man on his channel. Like, hey, when I get them little silent messages and texts, like, hey man, do you mind checking this real quick while I step out for a second? Yes, of course. And I let these guys know too. Hey, if you're supporting Black Man Unfiltered, check yourself. Let's put some time in for him. We're supporting him. If you're a content creator and you come on somebody else's platform that's positive, yo, zip your lip. Don't demonetize another brother who's trying to come up. Don't do that. And if I get behind the scenes, I'm literally going after everybody. That's just me. I'm literally do. Same thing here. I don't have no problem. If my quote unquote, my wifey, my YouTube wifey, she'll check me on the low end. I'll check her on the low end. We come in the back. We have no problem chin checking everybody. We chin check here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll hold everybody accountable. And
yeah, but I don't want to long stroke it. But I definitely want to just make that clear because again, I know you're new on our end of space, Lucky, and I want to get that. I want to make sure you have that one welcome, especially come back over. But that's just pretty much short end of the stick on my end. It sucks that a lot of men is like that. Why I don't know. Again, Nathan pretty much put the nail on the head. Let's start with the source of it. Who's the content creator? Who brought these people on it? What's their platform about? If I know that's what their platform about, it's like I'm not gonna mess with it. If that's your cup of tea, you know what? Watch Jerry Springer all day. Go watch Maury all day. Is that a woman? Is that a man? Go. That's do you. That's your taste.
Well, I think one of the problems though that I noticed, and Lucky, I'm gonna make sure I answer that question. I think you had a good question in reference to how come the men didn't hold him accountable. And I think perception is a real thing, right? I think people perceive things one way and they miss, right? She was screaming for protection, but the men on the panel were trying to protect her, even me included. And I was dismissed, I was in a way disrespected, I guess you could say. You could argue that. But the men were telling her to calm down, telling her to hold on, to be quiet, to stop. And she completely dismissed everybody who was trying to get her to relax. And I think sometimes what ends up happening is that we all think that protection comes in the form of physical contact, right? Or literally dropping somebody off, maybe off of the platform. Protection comes in the form of giving someone an advice, sharing an opinion. Hey, Lucky, don't wear hoop earrings, right? Because some guys think it's this way or that way. And you'd be like, oh, thanks for the advice. I didn't know that. Or it could be like, hey, Lucky, if you tie your hair up in the ponytail, it's safer when you're going in the storm or whatever. Your hair doesn't blow, right? Like that's a form of protection. Hey, don't wear that outfit because when you step outside, there's a lot of guys on this block who are a little funny, right? That's protection. And I think sometimes we misconstrue what protection is. It's listening. You cannot protect someone who doesn't listen. And I think when you have an ego, a lot of times people don't listen. They listen to themselves, right? That's male and female. And I think I'm trained to listen to people make their arguments because that's where all the evidence and the truth is at. And when I listened to them go back and forth, what people missed was they were focusing on her voice and they weren't focused on her words. And what she did during that time was very deceptive. She was extremely condescending. She was throwing a lot of insults before he made any type of insults. And then when it's brought up, people say, well, okay, yeah, she made fun of him like this or made fun of him like that, but he's a man, he can handle it, right? And we talked about that earlier with Amber Heard. It's a perfect example of someone trying to downplay something that another man is saying was an issue. And simply because we're men doesn't mean these things don't bother us. He only blew up after a series of insults. Now, those insults might not mean nothing to me, might not mean nothing to Mandrill, but all men are not created equal. We are all different. My level of self-control and self-discipline does not mirror somebody else, right? The things that irritate me might not irritate someone else. And so what she did, that a lot of people, a lot of men did catch it. Some men did not. I know a lot of women didn't catch it. Some women did catch it. Was that she's the first one to start. She made reference to his underwear. She said it was up in his ass crack, right? She said that, he was, and you remember that, Lucky? Did you hear that part?
I think the tidy whities.
Yeah, she said your tidy whities are in your ass crack, sir. Right? But she said
can I just plug in? Because what you said was he didn't disrespect her after. And I see how the audience has they're conflicted, because some people may say he disrespected her immediately, but then men can say he didn't disrespect her until after that.
I'm talking about insults. She started with the insults. And when you insult someone, that's a form of disrespect. So she was the first to throw the disrespect. Now, one would argue that is that something a man should feel disrespected of? Depends on the man.
Yeah.
And it's not for us to decide what one man feels is disrespectful. Listen, they called me a pig.
I mean, whether you feel disrespected, that doesn't mean it's not disrespectful.
There you go. Correct. I agree. Now, I can take some heat. I know some officers will put them paws on you, right? If you call them a pig. You're being overcharged, you're being thrown in jail, disorderly conduct, right? Like, so again, every man, every woman is different. What she did that was so smooth was she did it in a way to where it was so deceptive. You couldn't tell that she was insulting him because she was so calm about it. Oh, are those your tidy whities stuck in your ass crack, twisted up upside down, choking your testicles, sir? Right? And I added that little fluff, you guys. But the reality is she said it in a way that was so calm. It was so subtle that nobody caught it. And here he's yelling because he's upset. Ma'am, you don't even know where my parents are from, right? He's already lost his cool, right? He already lost his cool, but he never insulted her. He never disrespected her first. She called him Carlton. Hey, I'm not going to take your lunch money. What is she doing? Emasculating him. She knows she's 6 foot. You could tell chaotic. It got to be a strong 5'2", right? So what is she saying? What did she say? She said, listen, I'm not going to stuff you in your locker, sir. Right? Sir, is your pocket protector? Is your ink linking on your shirt? What is she saying? She's calling him a nerd.
God damn.
She's saying he has a pocket protector. She's talking about his underwear first. His whitey tighties up in his ass crack is what she said. Right? This is way before he mentioned the color of her panties. And he used that in analogy. He wasn't even asking her legitimately. He said, what if I ask you like this? So again, everyone missed all the subtle jabs and subtle disrespect. It was so smooth. I'm listening, I hear it. And then she calls him Carlton. She thought that was disrespectful. What did he say though? He said, hey, I don't want to talk about my parents. They could be dead for all you know. I don't want to talk about them. What did she say? She still pushed forward. He said, when you ask me about my parents, it makes me uncomfortable. He was the first one to say he was uncomfortable in that conversation. So again, we ignore when men say they feel uncomfortable, right? It's okay for a woman to insult a man. It's okay for a woman to make sexual gestures about a man's underwear. It's okay for a woman to talk about a man being a nerd and emasculating him. It's okay for a woman to ask a man something that he himself said made him uncomfortable. And again, this ties right back into the narcissistic behavior of Amber Heard, right? Amber punched Johnny Depp in the face and said that she barely hit him, right? And so again, it's easy for a person to warp and reframe things to make themselves look like the better person. And a lot of men, no offense to the big bull guy there, it takes nothing for someone to put a cape on, right? When you don't understand what's going on. And then she made a series of false statements.
You were swinging over here. Let me mute.
I mean, but I think the purpose of this, the reason why it's so serious is because a lot of men go to jail behind a woman's behaviors like that. a simple reframing of something. She made her why people got on her so bad and why I had to address it the way that I addressed it. Because I've seen men go to jail. I've seen men go to prison behind that. I've seen men die behind that, a woman's false allegations or inaccurate statements behind what another man did, right? We've seen men get lynched from a whistle, right? He whistled at me, you guys, right? The power of a woman's words. So again, it's not believe all women. Let's slow down and see what actually happened. No one said he was justified in how he acted. I think the problem is a lot of women wanted him to be dragged in the mud, but men holding men accountable is very simple. Hey, bro, you shouldn't have acted like that. You acted like a simp, or you was being a little female-ish. That's it. Men don't need to do any more than that. He was checked, chaotic. Everybody checked him. Nobody said that was okay. The problem is a lot of women weren't okay with that. That's the problem. The real problem is, why was that not satisfiable for a lot? A lot of people said, "Hey, we don't like that. We don't think that's cool." But also, we also see what Chelsea did, and what she did was unacceptable too. Not only what she did was unacceptable, she made another video and she made a series of false and inaccurate statements and accused two men of sexual assault.
Yes,
and that right there is absolutely unacceptable.
And
Chaotic, on the
dangerous.
other hand,
and very dangerous what she did too.
Absolutely. She could have gotten this man's channel taken down again because it was already taken down before, right? She could have, someone came on there. She let there was a white man that came up on the panel and told her she needed to call the police and make a report, you know? And again, the problem I have, some guy named Polar Bear, At the end of the day, what's the issue with this whole thing? Even when she made her second video, she never addressed the facts. She spent her entire video throwing insults and trying to recoup her ego because her ego got bruised because nobody was caping for her on the channel. And so she had to go to her own video, her own stream. She tagged nobody she was insulting and disrespecting in that video, by the way. Now, when I made my video, I tagged everybody I had an issue with.
Yeah, he did.
Every single one. That's how I operate in real life. You know, there's nothing I'm going to say here that I will not say to your face. So the issue that I had with that situation is that the things that she said about the Black community, about law enforcement, were grossly inaccurate and they needed to be addressed. And a lot of people believe the things that she was saying, and that's a problem. Fear-mongering within our community, that's a big problem, you know? And when I go to my channel and I have discussions about real issues involving the police and things like that and crime, people they're shocked, they're surprised. They're really, really shocked. And so those things with her had to be addressed. And I think the big problem with Chaotic is people are blaming him, and it's not his fault. It's freedom of speech. He can say what he wants to say, you know? The problem with that moment was that when you feel disrespected or you feel unsafe, then you remove yourself from the situation. This is the internet. You log off.
Yeah. And to be fair, I have a lot of people on my end, right? Like, and this is me speaking from the outside in again, Lucky, because that's all I could do. But I pretty much saw everything that he saw, and I looked at it on both sides. Like, okay, you know what you get yourself into. That is how I look at it. Especially if you're coming from that type of lens. I'm a content creator. Just take your time out, do the homework. But if I know, like, you know, we talked back in, you have more experience there than I do. It's like, why go there? I have guys literally send me DMs like, hey, guess what this person said? Guess this person, and the first thing I said is like, they'll be all right. They'll be okay. I'm not. There's no need for me to go there. But right. if I happen to pass across that, and I hear a conversation that's worth having a conversation, I'm gonna go there and have that conversation. And I've done it plenty of times, you know. But again, circling back to the whole Amber Turd again. Hashtag Amber Turd. That's what I'm calling her.
Well, and it was mutual too, right? I think let's be very clear. It was a mutual argument between two people, two adults, right? She's an adult, he's an adult. It's a mutual argument between two adults. I think we also have to address this idea that strangers are supposed to come to your rescue in the middle of an argument.
Yes.
You chose that. You decided to put yourself there, you know, and I think we need to really address that issue. Don't.
I just want to add, because I get what you're saying overall, and I don't want you to think that I'm disputing it, but I think for a resolution to get more women kind of hear what you're saying, it's like it's more so like saying he couldn't have done certain things that she couldn't done. If he felt so triggered to get to the point where his tidy whities are even being mentioned, you didn't like your parents being mentioned, and you feel like this woman is whatever triggering you, you had the responsibility as well as a man and as a leader to remove yourself, since you champion Kevin Samuels' talking points. You get what I'm saying? Leadership. So my point is, we can say, you know, paint everything with a brush and said everybody who's seen it this way is it feels this way. But I think that based on how you feel, I think it would be better if you've had a conversation with her, you know what I'm saying, as far as publicly, since you feel strongly about the things that she said, and or if also it was some like consequence. I understand freedom of speech, but things have consequences, right? Because we're talking about women say things, there should be a consequence. So if a man is saying things enough for people of a community to be triggered enough or to come up and ask him questions, he should also be I guess, more responsible of his emotions, more controlling of his emotions, to where he doesn't allow a question like, where are your parents from? It sounds, as a viewer, it looked like you weren't proud to say where your parents were from. So you could have answered the question like a debater would do, whether you go around the question, you could have, however you wanted to do it, but you decided to yell.
It's a sign of maturity, though.
Once your voice, but where I'm from, once your voice gets to a certain level, it's disrespectful. To you, you're saying it didn't become disrespectful until the insult. One might say it was disrespectful once he got loud because her tone. Because we always, you know, try to be tone police. When women start to get more passionate and their voice gets raised, they're masculine. But then when men start to be combative and catty, they're not feminine. So it's like, in that sense, I get what you're saying, but I guess for more women to kind of hear in the conversation, I think it would be beneficial to add in, what should he have done? Where in the conversation, was it, okay, you're doing too much or whatever? I mean, from the playback, from watching her, I didn't watch the show. I watched it from her channel. It didn't seem like anybody stepped in very directly towards Chaotic in the way he was doing, maybe mute him.
Well, pause.
Or take them both down. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me answer that, because you said a lot. I want to touch on some of the things you said. Not in a bad way. I didn't want to forget.
Yeah, I know.
They let them debate. It was a debate. This was a debate. It was a debate that got out of control, that the person who had control did not control it, because they wanted the entertainment value from it to clip it, and they clipped the hell out of it, right? No shot against them. That's their channel, right? No, right? I went over there myself. I knew where I was getting into. Again, I was there for 5 minutes. People were calling me a pig and a sellout. I knew where I was, though, right? What happened over there? They tried to calm both of them down, right? Nobody was listening. What do I see in the moment? I see two immature people having an argument. That's how I looked at it. I have a man that's immature and I have a woman that's immature, because she was agitating him while he was in the zone. And when her tactic backfired on her, then she cried wolf. That's what happened. See, if everything was good when it was working in her favor, when she was making him look bad because he was out of control, cool. The host of some of the people on the panel were saying, hey, Chaotic, calm down. Hey, be quiet so we can let's get back on topic. They weren't listening to nobody. Even when I came up, I said, hey, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. She said, sir, I'm not talking to you. Again, because it wasn't done the way she wanted it done, right? She made a video, and I didn't know about it until later. In her video, she says, I don't want to talk to a Jamaican cop about anything. He's ignorant. Double ignorance is what she said. A Jamaican and a cop. She herself said she does not want to have the conversation with me. I never said that, Lucky. I've never said that. I brought Jay Prince on my channel, and he damn near interviewed me.
Brilliant, brilliant video, by the way.
That was
brilliant.
And this is a man who at the time, he hated the police. He hated the police. And I invited him on my channel to have the discussion. I'm not afraid of the conversation because you have to bring your facts. You have to bring your logic, whether broken, fragmented, or completely saturated in ignorance. It doesn't matter. Bring it over here and let me pick it apart because I'm very surgical with it. So in this moment, she announced to everybody already that she wasn't going to have a talk with me. So because you don't want to have the conversation, I still have to address the lies and the false statements that you made. And I tagged you, right? I still tagged you, though you didn't tag me. And you had a lot to say about me, right? So people are missing the part where she then disrespected me first.
I just realized who you were. I'm so sorry. I'm so slow. You in the video, she was talking to her man, and you was like, "Yeah, 6. I know you got a man."
Yeah. I said you lead with your insecurities.
I feel like I'm in a situation. What y'all got me in here?
Oh no, you good.
Got him.
I would say here's the biggest problem though.
But hold on, let me just cleanse real quick. It's again not a situation. We pretty much on the same topic, you know what I'm saying, but it just pivot to a comment that we addressed. That's pretty much is it. But I will say this because again, you brought up accountability, right? And I'm not gonna put their name out, but a good buddy of mine, he had a friend that is a content creator, and again, you like Nate said, you can't speak on stuff that you're not qualified for, right? Like I definitely can't speak on Mandrell on the stuff he do, but I know the stuff he do because I got a buddy I'm close with, is a friend of mine. Actually, he's like, yo, he's on way higher level than I am. You know what I'm saying? In his credentials. So, and with that being said, it was something on the content that another content creator dressed up and told another guy you can't have feelings and you can't speak on this. And this guy got offended because it's like, yeah, I can. I was there. This is what I do. How are you going to tell me of all people when you don't even do it? And it got dressed up and it got plastered on the content. And he's in his feelings about it. And I'm listening to this brother and I'm listening to him and we talking on the back end. And he was saying stuff that, some extra stuff that he's been more of a friend to this person than his own friends and family was. And I was like, wow, that sounds like one of my homeboys did for me coming up. Now I'm really rocking with him now because those people are one in my corner. So and he held them accountable. Family and friends reached out to him over the time, like, hey man, you're not hanging out no more? Well, this is why. He was disrespectful. He said something out of line, out of context. Don't know the hell he talking about. We're supposed to be friends, right? This is my boy, man to man. He effed up. I can't mess with him no more. So unfortunately, again, you got these spaces just all about entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But I still got to keep saying this. If it's Jerry Springer, it's Jerry Springer. And I'm Tom Cruise. Excuse me, I'm Wesley Snipes. I'm Denzel Washington.
All right. Slow down.
All right, why am I gonna bring my behind over there when I know what's gonna come to me when I get there? Why am I devalue myself? So again, he was dead wrong for acting what he's doing. We know his character. Again, it take one for me. I promise you, it take one time for me.
One for me.
I saw it. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna entertain you like you entertain me. But on my end of the fence, you ain't coming over here because that's not how I roll. And then if you do, I'm gonna let you know, just like even behind the scenes here before he came up. This is how we do, this is what we do. Nathan is my guest. This is how we're gonna present him.
But what's funny to your point is I had on Black Man Unfiltered, I checked him on Black Man Unfiltered. And I addressed what he said to the women. I said it was disrespectful what he said to the women.
You sure did. Because you're on my show.
I was on your show.
You was on my show. It's on Black Man Unfiltered Network. But yeah, you're on my show that night.
And
you
I
sure
checked
were. You pulled up and got on the panel. You sure did.
And I checked him.
And you stayed on his neck too.
And I stayed on his neck the whole show.
Great pill, the whole show.
And again, people may not have seen that, but the women on the panel allowed me to come to their support, right? Because they listened. I said, hey, listen, you guys, he's being disrespectful to y'all. Let me address it. What they do, Mandrell? Right? They backed up.
They backed up.
So again, a man can't protect a woman who doesn't listen. If you're not willing to, right? If you're not willing to let go of that, come down and relax and push and pull back and let a man come up to your defense, then why would he? If you act like you can handle it, she was acting like she could handle it. And I will say this, because in the comment section, someone brought up a good point about, well, it's not a good point, but they're trying to make it seem like I'm protecting chaotic, and I'm not. I think people are missing the deeper problem here is that chaotic never said he wasn't safe or felt uncomfortable having the conversation, right? She said she was afraid and felt unsafe and wanted to be protected. So again, that changes the entire direction of the conversation. Now you just changed this whole thing. The whole mood of this conversation has changed, because now you're saying that though you participated in the verbal assault, now all of a sudden you are in a position now where you want to be a woman and you want to step down and you want to be protected. But for the past 15 minutes, you participated in mutual verbal combat. See, the difference with chaotic was he's actually attacking and going back and forth with you. Then you are now pulling back and saying that you are afraid, and now you're not comfortable and you want the men to protect you. Where was that energy 20 minutes ago in the start of this conversation? So again, that is the piece that we're arguing. No one is saying what he did was appropriate or how he acted was appropriate. All men are not created equal, you guys. You have to get that in your mind. All men are not the same. And your version of what you think a man is not the version of what a man is, right? So again, everybody thinks they're a man until real men show up.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Okay. Because a lot of dudes, and those dudes, when you see them get checked,
exactly,
it's just like seeing the dog took his tail between his legs and hold his head down.
Exactly.
It reminds you of that so much. It's like, yeah.
Mandrell, it was stated that, or some who just said it stated that you said if you're not qualified to speak on the subject, then you shouldn't be speaking on the subject.
That was me.
I kind of agree with that to a degree too.
Depending on what we're talking about.
Yeah, depending.
Especially if you're saying, I'm sorry, go ahead, Lucky.
Do you think that's subjective based on the individual? Like, who would feel who's qualified to speak on what?
I think it's subjective, but I think it becomes more relevant when everything you're saying is lies, or I won't say lies, but when you're saying things that's grossly inaccurate and you have someone there who can clarify, right? So I'm not going to go on a panel and they're talking about mental health issues, and maybe I've read a couple things or heard a couple things in the news. I then myself know this is a panel of mental health experts, and I'm not at all. And then I come on the panel and I say, hey, you guys know that 80% of Black people suffer from mental health in this country. And then someone on the panel is a mental health expert and they worked in the Black community. They say, hold on, that's grossly inaccurate. And we have to be careful how we say that, because people will misconstrue what you said and think that that's a real thing. How about we let a person who actually does the research, study, works, and is educated in that field speak on that particular topic? I think it's different when we are all coming together and this is a big think tank on a panel and we're expressing our views and our perspective. Then you have an expert that's present, and that expert saying, hey, you guys, hey, let me correct you guys, because that's not accurate. I think that's the difference.
I agree. Can I ask a question, Lucky? And just for a women's perspective, and I definitely appreciate the conversations and the question you're asking, because men, well, it sucks, but the men I know do hold men accountable. How would women in that scenario that you saw, right? What would be your suggestion? How would a woman should supposed to address that? Let's say you came in there on your end, like how would you handle that?
And real quick, let me add on to that. Let me add on to that real quick. Let me
Huh?
add on. Let me add on to that question.
Put it on me, but go ahead, Nathan.
Let me add on to that question that he just asked. How should the women hold 6 accountable for what she said and what she did? But answer the one with chaotic first. And how should the women come back and hold her accountable for the false statements and the insults that she gave him? Because I heard no one check. So I didn't hear any women who were checking chaotic, checking 6.
How would I handle it?
Just generally speaking,
I remove myself, especially now, and I'm learning to do better in any situation that does not bring out the best in me. So in that situation, he's totally not going to bring out anything good. Not even a good conversation. Correct. So I wouldn't even engage in anything like that, especially if people are going to allow him to be disrespectful and not even care that we are representing our skin color. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I think, but some people think it's just YouTube. Yep. Now, I'm not going to speak on how she should have handled it because I am a supporter and I do not I don't disagree. You know what I'm saying? I can't say as a woman, she's still a lady, but she was passionate about what she was talking about and she was right from her perspective. I haven't done an interview with her to say what was your research and all this type of stuff. I understood where she was coming from. So I went with the obvious because I'm not about to defend a racist. That's just where I stand. I don't care if he was just like, he said it subtly and then you come in, you woo 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 woo. I'm gonna defend you because you one of my own and he's racist. That's just how
what about the insults though? And I do respect your position on that.
But it's just like the lady who knows that she can trigger you just by calling you the N-word to me. Yeah. So I don't care what insult is thrown at that person. They're racist and they're against me and what I stand for. You kind of get what I'm saying? So I don't care how you take it. You can respectfully where the sun don't shine. You know what I'm saying? Because you are against something and you are saying things that are slanderous and that are against things that I personally believe in. So I really don't care how a person who's racist and disrespectful every chance he gets feels about a situation. Now, if we're talking about in general, I don't think that she would have had to even handle that situation in general if a racist person was not in a space being racist that she felt like she had connections to because she is often over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like what you said. If I go to your house all the time, Mandrell, and you know how we like to, talk and we do this and you have a particular friend over there. Yes, I should respect your house, but you should also understand how your friend is and it comes to, get your friend. You know what I'm saying? So it's that type of situation. So for that in particular, I don't care about his tidy whities or nothing like that or anything beyond that point because he's racist. Who cares how he feels from my perspective?
I understand your logic on that. I think that's where it becomes dangerous, right? Where we can't call wrong. Even though we might dislike a person's position, we still have to be able to say what she did was wrong, what he did was wrong, and be able to take ourselves out of it, right? I'm asking you in this moment, take yourself out of it, right? And I respect what you're saying, but that's what I was asking. I was saying, can you be neutral in a moment? We're not making fun of either side. Both sides were wrong. And I'm saying that's like me, if you were my sister and I saw and witnessed you do something wrong, but the person was wrong for doing something back to you, I'm still going to say, hey, sis, listen, you were wrong for that, though he still shouldn't have called you that, period.
Where would you say that? Would you say that in front of the person that has wronged your sister, or would you check me in private and defend me in public?
It depends on what it was.
Depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so
in that case, if that was...
I see the error in our communication because Nathan, if we are somewhere and somebody is saying something, you could have bumped and he could have said, watch where you going, N-word. You could have rightfully bumped him. I got your back until we in handcuffs to the whatever, and then I'll be like, why you got us in some shit?
Calm down, sis. Trust me. I'm giving an example. Yeah, I'm with you. But again, it still comes. Yeah, because it still comes back to that situation. Like I said before, I get you. We're saying, okay, a situation like that, unexpected, granted, but when that happened, and I'm your sis, I'm big brother, right? You want to rock with me, sis? Let the man handle that for a moment, all right? But then if the roles reverse, I get out of line. I would want little sis to check me too. Yo, why would you call that chick a B? Why would you do that? That's something I feel
but
like.
that's what I'm saying. In front of the girl, and she was doing the most.
Well, that's different. That's different, right? There's a time.
That's what I said. Depends
on
where.
Yeah,
like,
depends on it.
Yeah. I mean, that all matters, right? I mean, I'm not going to address it there, right? That's different. But in a situation like this, if I was in control of the panel, one, I'd be in control of the panel, right? But I care about Black image. So I'm not going to allow us to come off and get rowdy, get crazy. Because guess what? They dropped Jay Prince the moment he said the F word, right? So we use the N word all the time. That doesn't trigger YouTube.
Nope.
Right? Make it make sense. So there's certain things that we can do when we are belittling our own selves, when we're disrespecting our own selves. YouTube is very fine with that, right? But if you do something about the alphabet community or say something about Transformers or whatever, your channel's out of here.
That's because they're stronger. They don't allow anybody in their community.
They stick together.
They stick together.
Yeah, the thing is,
we allow people.
Yes, we do.
They have the skin color to say things disrespectful about a woman.
Yep.
That are we serious? So I don't give a damn.
And I agree. But you got to, man. Now, Lucky, you also have to acknowledge there's a segment of YouTube that's geared towards disrespecting men. It goes both ways, right? This is the problem with the manosphere. You have a lot of
Black image,
but they're Black women who are insulting Black men and calling them all kind of names, right? The divester group, that's a real thing. I didn't know all this stuff was going on.
I didn't know that either.
Here's the thing: you have Black women, and Black Man Unfiltered pointed me to this because I thought he was kidding around at first. I was like, "Yeah, come on, man, you ain't gotta make stuff up." He said, "Mandrell, I'm serious. Check it out." And he showed me the video of this woman saying that Black women, you find yourself pregnant, okay, and you found out it's a boy, delete it. You should delete all Black boys.
Yeah,
I even mind blown.
Yep. Even one,
they don't procreate with Black men either.
Yeah, right. I met one this like maybe months ago, and I dived in her content only because she was clapping back on another high content creator, and we pretty much had the similar views, and we actually had a whole Discord, and I just couldn't understand it. It's like, I get you, but I just didn't get you. You know, but those are spaces we get into. So again, not just to YouTube, but spaces. Just be careful what you do. Carry yourself. And again, we're holding, well, the good men anyway. The good men is holding men accountable. And I'm going to go ahead and respectfully just kind of poke the bear a little bit. When women say, you know what, girl power, so I'm still going to stick up for it because that's my sister. When you do that too, that kind of become a problem. You know, let's say, you know, I was a buddy not too long ago. His girl broke up with him on the whim. But what the girl do? She's out in the clubs with the girlfriend, knowing she was daggone wrong. The girls patting her on the back, throwing out drinks. Got the FM dress on, doing the dance of two-step. What he was doing?
Guys do that to each other too.
No, ma'am.
No, you should see how men. You should see how men suffer, man. Like, look, we wallow in it.
No, ma'am.
So y'all don't big up each other's dysfunction.
No, because I'm gonna tell you my version. When me and my ex was together 2 years and we ended, I was in the corner doing for like a few months. But again, I went to work.
I told you to man up.
Manned up, did my thing, kept it moving. I kept active, I kept busy. My homeboys, like my homeboy now, it's like my boy. He just reached out to me not too long ago because he just that type of guy. He don't do the whole Facebook, internet stuff. He reached out to me randomly, like, yo, man, I hate freedom. Wow, like what's up with you? And we'll chop it up for a minute and we go about our business. That's it. That's how we're different we are. But I feel like women today really need to, if you woke and you're aware of certain situations, you got to speak up on some things, especially if you're wrong. Because if you're not, then you're going to be that woman, quote unquote, Amber Turd, hashtag Amber Turd, hashtag Amber Turd. You're going to be that type of woman, going to say the wrong thing or the right thing, knowing what you're saying, and they're going to be out in public. We've seen many of videos and content of it where they do these tests where, hey, what if a woman does this to a man out in public? What would the public do? Nothing. They'll keep walking past. What would a man do? Instantly, everybody snaps. When a man does the same thing to a woman. Exactly. If a man out there to a woman.
Don't do nothing.
Excuse me?
Men wouldn't do nothing if a woman was, you say, getting attacked in the street.
Oh, we got to talk after this, Lucky. Because I don't know what kind of. We got to talk after this.
I think we're getting away from the point. I think the bigger issue at the end of the day is that there's problems on both sides. And unfortunately, people, when we start talking about, when we're talking about a conversation holding men accountable, the men get mad and say, what about the women? When we start holding the women accountable, the women get mad and say, what about the men? Right? The reality is this: both of them were wrong. Right? Both of them was wrong. You have some men who feel differently, some women who feel differently. You have some women who saw exactly what she was doing and how she was doing it, and some women who don't. And I think at the end of the day, we have to agree with the fact that that's not a proper way for anybody should be addressing one another when having dialogue or even a disagreement. Because again, collectively, it doesn't look good on us as a whole. And I think we have to start looking at things like that. If we're not willing to challenge each other, again, I think one of the biggest issues that people weren't satisfied, that people weren't dragging chaotic, because they're like, hey, a man is supposed to be like this, a man is supposed to be like that. Okay, well, what is a woman supposed to be like, right? Again, at the end of the day, we had two grown adults who engaged in verbal warfare with each other. And then one felt one way, another felt another way. At the end of the day, they handled it inappropriately, and it was allowed to happen. That's the fact, right? And so I think sometimes we get caught in these different arguments where we want to compete against gender instead of just pointing out what the actual issues were and take our feelings out of it. Again, he's going to have a place on YouTube because people are going to give him a place to stay.
Yep.
Yeah. And also to the
go ahead,
network.
bro. I'm sorry.
No problem. Also to that network, we have to always, like, even myself, I've had to check myself in a few times here recently. You know what I'm saying? Angela's just checked me and did a good job of it too. I even sent him a text saying thanks for that. But you have to realize that that's a network that's not really looking for solutions. It really is just there for entertainment. It's the Netflix version of Ratchet TV. That's why I look at it, and that's why you got to take it.
$8.99 a month. $8.99 a month. $8.99 a month.
Right. Right. That's it. I mean, that's the way you have to look at that network. They're not about finding solutions. They're not. Right. Let's be honest.
We're gonna pretty much beat that network over the head. But I will say this. Let me ask you a question real quick, and we're gonna close it out. Because Big Bag got a lot of conversations. First of all, I appreciate everybody because I got the creative in here. She's over here. I think she only here for Deuce, but Deuce serving our country. You know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing over there in Poland right now. He left out of Germany. Shout out to this is my favorite troll right here, Nathan. This is my favorite troll. Because I know you got Snuggles. I saw Snuggles on your end.
Shout out to
Snuggles is on my channel too.
Snuggles everywhere. I love Snuggles.
I have a question to end before you end it.
Sure, go ahead.
As men, how do you, if you feel strongly about the Black image, which it sounds like you all do, and you are a part of content creators or things in spaces that are against the Black community, what would your suggestion be for other men? Is it going to be going forward to constantly hold men accountable based on how they are portraying an image that reflects all of us or you? Or is it just going to say, oh, they're just embarrassing us for entertainment, so just ignore them? Not them per se, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, the thing is, to be fair, yeah, when it comes to things like this, the only thing we can do is tell people to ignore situations like that. We can't cut the channel off. You know what I mean? Really, there's nothing we can actually do about that. So the best thing we can do is hold each other accountable. Like,
I mean, in general, like with the chaotic subject at hand, he's in different spaces, he's accepted. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying don't accept him, but if we're talking about other, like the rainbow community, they're very strict. We in our community can't even have an opinion of what we believe.
Exactly.
So why aren't we like that? They're not saying, hey, just ignore them over there. They're just doing that for fun. No, they have a strict law.
Gotcha. So, well, the reason why is because they're galvanized, especially when you're talking about the little hat people. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm talking about, they start with the J, the name, little hat people. Yeah, those people, they're galvanized and they're united. Whereas us, we're a bunch of individuals
Yep.
The idea and sense of community has been long since forgotten when it comes to us. We have actually no interest in it. You know, if you're looking at us in general. So that's why other cultures are able to make a fuss and get things done, and we are not. That's the biggest reason from my perspective.
Yeah, I'm agree with him on that too. Me personally, just lead by example. You know what I'm saying, Lucky? Even on this platform, I welcome all perspective. Even you here, you're having a conversation. Minka here, she just got a kick out of it and been her little giggly, goofy self. Um, and I encourage other platforms to have more positive input and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing down that negative narrative. That's what my example is. But again, if it's not for you and you're not that type of person, or if you're preaching that you're not that type of person, just ignore it and move on. Because you give fuel to fire if you do that. Nate.
Yeah, I have a couple things I want to say. Look like we might have some courageous people in the chat asking about the link. I dropped the link because it looked like Let's Talk, the Better Black Life. Seemed like they have a lot to say.
I got one more thing to say to you, Nate.
And we can bring them up.
Nate, I got one more thing to say to you. You know what it is?
Well, hold on 1 second. So stupid. I agree with Mandrill, and but I will say this though. Just how quickly one person was able to galvanize people to divide foreigners who have black skin from FBAs who have black skin. Now, mind you, my family was dropped off a little early during the triangle slave trade, right? We were slaves too. Though we weren't American slaves, we were slaves nonetheless. We have to be careful how quickly we're able to divide ourselves almost 14, 16 different ways. There's so many different subgroups in this country, right? Of people. We got ADOS and some FBA don't get along, don't agree with each other. You got the Pan-African movement. You got the New Black Panthers. You got the Hebrew Israelites. You got, the name, who else? I still got the list up here. The Hoteps. You got NOI. You got Black Lives Matter. And nobody is aligned. And the problem is, who is the enemy? What's the common goal? It seems like we're doing more fighting each other than we are fighting the real issues. And again, exactly. The moment we turn the mirror on each other, people get upset. People get really upset. I'm starting to think, right, this accountability thing is making people really scared. I say that there's a fear of accountability among some people in this country. Some Black people in our community are afraid of being held accountable. So I call it accountophobia, right? Accountophobia. It's such a thing. And if you really try to talk about white supremacy, people get scared about that too. It's almost as if we're addicted to white supremacy, because the thought of removing ourselves from white institutions, you guys, Black people will have to do the work. You don't like the police. You hate white police officers. Cool. Damn, you hate Black police officers. Okay, cool. Then damn, who's going to be the cops for us? Right? You hate everything, but you provide no solutions. You yourself are not doing anything to bring about any change. Right? Then on top of that, God forbid if someone asks you to put yourself in a position of leadership. Now we have a whole country full of attorneys and only 5% of them are Black. We have a whole country of police officers, only 12% are Black. The news media is destroying our community. Only 7% of everybody who works in the news media is Black. And you wonder why we can't get nothing done or get things for ourselves, because we're not doing the work. We're absent in a lot of areas of power in this country. That's the reality. If you want things to change, you have to get your ass up and put yourself in position. I'm in position. Are you in position? But you're mad at me, right? You're mad at me for the things that I'm doing and trying to do. It's almost as if we discourage our own people from being powerful. Guess what? Someone said to me on my channel the other day, they said the KKK is in the police. Yeah, and it's very smart for them to do that. Right? That's power. You would think we'd be like, oh damn, KKKs, let's throw some Black Panthers in there too, right? Hey, let's throw some Black people in there, not to be criminals, right? But to actually take up that real estate of power. Everybody else is doing it except for us, and we're discouraging our own people from doing things that's in our best interest. Groom our own people and put them in positions of power, period. And again, if you don't do that, if you don't play the game properly, then the game will be played on you. And if you're not playing in the game still impacts you whether you like it or not. So I don't understand where all the thing is. Listen, if you have a moment, please drop the link because there's some.
Nate, listen,
Nate.
Not,
the conversation we had on Chantel that derailed you. So
exactly, I'm not. Yeah, we'll have this for another conversation because
Okay.
pretty much you're the guest.
I don't want no one to think that I'm not willing to put that blue flame on them.
Nah, and this is pretty much come to the point. This pretty much come to the point of pretty much people need to learn how to listen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just learn how to listen. We watched the show. She's from the inside, looking in. You was actually came
you don't want to drop
it.
the link.
Because welcome to the Great Pill Podcast. I don't. Again, it's a difference between wanting drama and organic drama. So we're not gonna about that. So again, pretty much the whole perspective was just to have the conversation. That's what we're about. Have the perspective. I'm good with that. So I will say this. Do anybody have final words so we can leave it like that while Nathan's sitting there looking around for something?
I want to see who this is, whose channel this is talking
about. Right. The thing is, what he's gonna do is, he's looking people up. Because what Nate's gonna do is he's gonna do a show. Watch, Andrews. He's gonna make a show, and if that person's in his comment section, Nate's gonna call him out.
Yeah.
Say, I'm dropping the link. Cam up.
Yep.
Cam up. Don't hide behind the avatar. Cam up. And then
later, bro.
And I told Nate, I said, Nathan, why do you do that? You know these people aren't going to cam up, man.
Hold on. And just to be fair, hold on. Just to be fair, this is like, back to Lucky. Again, if people listen to me, because I repeat myself, because I'm that like old pastor, because the sheep in the church ain't listening, right? I vet people who come on my channel. I just don't put random people on my channel, be putting random people on my channel. That's how we do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put nobody in positions like, again, even you, a man, think about you.
I started doing that too, so I feel you.
Exactly. So again, a man in my position, you're female here. So the guys, you might respect Nathan, might respect, but when it comes to more guys coming up here jumping, and it's gonna be feeling attacking, whatever. So I'm not gonna put nobody in that position. And then respectfully, again, this is Nate's the guest. Madrid's coming in, supporting me from Black Men Unfiltered. Y'all want that noise? Y'all can go over there every Friday. Barbershop talk. All right. Shout out to Black Men Unfiltered.
Talk Tuesday.
You can go ahead and add some more sub counts to Nathan.
They invite me.
Okay, and you're gonna get invited all the time. I promise you. This is the family here. This is how we do. If you want that smoke, cam up. He got his rules, regulations on his channel. He said it so many times. So with that,
and keep in mind when he says go subscribe to my channel, he does not subscribe back.
Who's that?
You.
Me?
Oh.
Me?
Throwing
you, Nathan.
Throwing chitlins in there.
All right, let me go subscribe.
You don't subscribe. I subscribe. He didn't subscribe.
I didn't know you subscribed, Lucky. Because you told me you were on the opposition side, so I didn't think you were subscribed to my channel.
I am neutral and I am on Black side. Okay.
That's what's up. All right, I'm going right now.
But all skin folk ain't kin folk.
Fact.
That's true.
Yeah, I like Lucky because she got that. I guess you want to say unicorn perspective is like, and she's on the other fence. I'm like, Lucky, are you serious? Like, okay, but she's cool people, so I appreciate that. So
all right, I'm subscribed, and I will say I am subscribed officially. I make subscriber. Okay, yeah, I'm subscribed, so I'm on there. I'm on there.
All right,
but go ahead, Angela.
All right, final thoughts, man. Final thoughts. Don't long stroke us. Don't long stroke us.
All right. All right, so I will say this again. Thank you. I thought this was a great conversation. This is our first time, my first time being on your channel.
Appreciate you.
Anytime you need me over here, man, it's something that's within my wheelhouse. By all means, I'm all about Black empowerment. I'm all about just solution based. I have a lot of solutions, man. I'm a deep thinker, so don't hesitate to reach out. I had a great time. This is an amazing conversation. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to Lucky. Lucky, I really appreciate you coming always with a neutral perspective, but also very patient and very respectful. Even when, you know, sometimes I've heard some guys say some sideways things that I would have checked, and you've always been very pleasant with your response. Again, not all women are created equal. Not all women's femininity is created equal either. And we know there's different levels to it, as we know there's different levels to a man's masculinity. And some guys say yawn.
Yo, I'm telling you, he's my new favorite troll. I love you, Zon. I love you, Zon.
We got one on every channel.
Yeah, I love him.
Hey, New Growth is my troll. He's an ultra troll. He's on my channel heavy all the time.
See, you don't understand history, Nate.
Bless his. I don't understand
your history.
Bless his heart. Shout out to New Growth. He's my struggle troll. So overall, man, I really appreciate it, man. Anytime you need me to come back and I'm free, I would love to come back and have the conversation. So
okay,
I appreciate that.
Next week I did again. It was a good conversation. It technically didn't pivot, but it kind of still filtering in with the Amber Heard and women and guys. So shout out to Lucky again. If Mika was here, trust me, she'd have loved the hell out of you, because that's, you know, you pretty much on the same wavelength with her. Because I have to talk to her too. I'm like, it's only you. But with that being said, I was trying to steer it kind of worked up a topic for next week. And I'm not going to ask you and put nobody on the spot like that. But the topic that we're going to come up is pretty much cam and no cam for next week, Saturday. So, and that's for the viewers out there. Let me get my ugly mug up here. You know what I'm saying? So next week, guys, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central, every Saturday, 6 p.m. Central. Hit that subscribe button. Definitely hit that like. So next week, Saturday, the topic right now is going to be, you know, cam up or don't cam up. Your reasons why. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to show a clip. You know what I'm saying? So I got the respect, you know, the blessings from Nathan about it. So I'm going to show a little clip of that. A little controversy. Not a really controversy. A good conversation that was on Miss Gill. You know what I'm saying? About that. And I felt it was very interesting with that. So Miss Lucky, as always, you're lucky and blessed to come on for next Saturday for that. You know, you always gonna get the DMs and the messages, the updates on there. All right. Final thoughts, Mandrell?
For the men out there, she's gonna say the same thing you did, because facts, you know, Angelus, be an example. You know, you're not gonna be perfect. You know, not everyone is me, but try. You know, that doesn't mean you don't try, okay?
Everybody not you. What that mean?
Yeah, no one's perfect except me, okay? You're not me.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Classic.
Right.
Shout out to Home Alone.
Right.
For those who know.
So, yeah. So, no, what I'm saying, be the example. The man you tell women that they should go out for and women should vet to get, be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Have your integrity, have honor, the whole 9 yards. You know, always tell the truth. You know, bottom line, just don't be a dick. You know, lead by example. Yeah, that's my final thoughts.
Okay, Miss Lucky, what's your final thoughts with the great perspectives?
In general, I'm learning. So I don't really like to give general statements for women.
You can speak from yourself, your heart, your experiences.
I think that people should be able to always move in love. That's just what I'm learning to do. I think that people should, once you operate from that space and no hate in your heart, I think that in these type of spaces, you'll be able to not take anything so personal and realize it's just the person in that moment. Maybe they're looking for attention, maybe whatever the case may be. But just my perspective would just to be always move in love and always try to operate on a good note. So if you feel like you're uncomfortable or you feel like you're not going to represent yourself the best way, I would just say remove yourself. Now, as far as the Johnny Depp situation,
yes,
men, don't date women like that. That will abuse you. And if you ever feel attacked, men, protect yourself.
There you go. All right, appreciate you, Lucky. Again, fellas and gents, I appreciate everybody coming up here. I appreciate Nathan Daniels with the 10,000K coming in here and supporting us.
Daily.
That was respect her name, Daley. I'm gonna shoot myself. I apologize.
He has written right underneath his face.
I shot myself. It's all good now. We back. Gotta respect his name. So shout out to him again, man. Congratulations for the 10K. Shout out to Lucky for coming on in and stepping in behind Minka. Again, she's celebrating her birthday, but she will be back again. Everybody, check out, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and we'll catch our guys Tuesday. Anything between that, if you hit that bell notification, you're gonna get updates in between that. All right. So thank you.